What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cornercade. We're calling this a Monday night chill and chat, guys. Sorry for the bump up in the schedule. Normally we go live Tuesdays, but I'm a retail manager and that's the schedule sometimes. So I'm glad I could kick it with you guys. Plus, I'm glad I had my Sunday and Monday off. Got to catch a little football, the playoffs. I never get to see that. I always have my Tuesday, Wednesdays off, but I am glad that you guys are here with us tonight, guys. There's so many places that you could be right now. P-Dubs is going live. Big giveaways over there. I think Michael B, the Game Genie, went live. Everybody's going live tonight, guys. So I appreciate that you guys are here. Now, our boy OTG called out sick to work here at the Cornercade, but that's okay, guys, because we're wishing him the feel betters and to get well soon so we can have him back next week. But we can't do the show alone. So I'm going to bring in somebody that has not been to the Cornercade yet. Very excited to have our boy, James Hates Everything. Let's go. How you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent. Let's go.
I am very excited to have you on. There's so much to talk about. Even though Arcade1up's not releasing things, there is a lot to talk about still. But before we get the show started, I want to bring everybody else in the building tonight. I want to say hi. I know there's a lot of pre-chatter going on. I really do appreciate the people that stopped in early. Paul Mindeman, big supporter of the channel. I don't have him in the restream, but I got him here on the YouTube here. It says the show... It says the one show that left that doesn't rely on Arcade1up to feed them discussion topics. Let's go, Danny. I really do appreciate that. Can you imagine when there actually is Arcade1up news? This has got to be your spot right here. No offense, James Hates Everything, but you're dealing with one of the biggest Arcade1up fans in the building right now. So you'll get used to it. We got Julio Hernandez, Dark Realm Gaming, also stopping by early. But let me bring up the chats right here. I have Monster. That's a new name, so welcome aboard. 2-minute warning. That's right, the big countdown. Glad you can make it, my guy. Duggar is in the house. Let's go already. That's right, man. Get hyped. There's Monster again, leaving that big bomb emoji. Dark Realm Gaming says, I'm putting this on loud to bump it. Of course. I didn't realize, James, that this intro is bumping like on a sound bar or something. I normally just listen on my AirPods, so I didn't know that. It's pretty cool. Julio Hernandez is in the house. Best intro ever. I really do appreciate the love, guys. Chrissy is in the building. Yo, and we got Code as Bryce in the house saying let's go. That's right. Biggie D is mind blown. I think either the show starting or that James Hates Everything is in the building. It's either one of the two there. But thank you for stopping by, man. We got Zero Redux in the house. Welcome to the Cornercade. That's right, man. Let's go. I think we got Council Fanboy spreading love with the emojis here. We got Daryl, first time here. Welcome, Daryl. Welcome. Always like new people tuning into the Cornercade. I really do appreciate it. Let's see here. Ted Adam Green. Gonna be a great show tonight. The crazy home arcade guys. Looking forward to your first, and then I'll catch the rest on the repeat. Thank you for always supporting and tuning in. We got the bad guy Mike Worley in the house, man. Let's go. What's up, Cornercade and everybody? Glad you could make it tonight. And James, right out of the gate, look at, man, we got a super chat for $1.99. Council Fanboy hitting it hard with the $1.99 super chat. Sup, James, smartest arcade YouTuber. What do you think about that, buddy?
Boy, that's a huge compliment. Console Fanboy, pretty damn smart himself, and he's pretty damn good at finding the little loopholes to jab at people. He's damn hilarious.
Yeah. Normally we have a good amount of sounders on the show, but our boy OTG's out, so it's. We're stuck with the super chat videos. If you guys don't want me to play that, I can definitely do that. But so we're mixing the smartest arcade YouTuber with what, maybe the most hype arcade YouTuber. I mean, that's a pretty good combo right there.
Without a doubt, man. Your energy is off the charts compared to everybody else.
Yeah, I do. I know. I guess that's the one thing that kind of maybe separates me from the rest. I mean, guys, can you imagine if there's actually great... I've yet to kind of host the show where we've had a brand new breaking title. That's going to be a first for the show because I'm still young at doing this, James. Our channel has only been around for a year, but when we started doing the podcast show, we've only been doing this for a few months, maybe 4 or 5 months, and Arcade1up really hasn't been doing much. A lot of rehashes. So it's going to be very exciting to see what the future brings. Now, James, we do have Darren Kane in the house. He's a former Arcade1up staffer, so maybe we can pick his head and brain a little bit if you have any questions for him. He's always listening in the chat, so definitely cool.
Well, I will. I think I've seen Darren Kane jump in the chat a few times, and very interested to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, for sure, man. I always like if there's a question, I'm like, dude, help us answer. You are like the fly on the wall that have all the insights. So tonight's show, I was really gonna, I actually wanted to take a step back and I wanted to listen to James and OTG and hear their real raw thoughts about like kind of what's going on with Arcade1up, how have they gotten to this point, on and on and on and on. But since he's not here, I'm going to try to do my best to kind of fill in. James, you got some big shoes to fill. Are you ready, dude? Are you ready?
I'll see what I can do.
I love it. Okay, so let me bring this down real quick. I like to keep it clean. So first topic, as we're moving into 2024 here, Arcade1up kind of took a back seat to CES. And, we found out on our show that Travis MCP let us know, hey, not the end of the world, guys. It costs anywhere from like $20,000 to $70,000. Do you really want to do that when you can just host a live stream and kind of go from there? Like, and we could put that money to research and development and, get new titles kind of thing. And we were all like, okay, that makes sense. Let's calm down. The company's not on fire. They're not going out of business just yet. But what are your kind of thoughts? Because I know you've done like videos on this. There was that article that came out from Kokum or something that kind of like dove into saying, hey, look, these are our financials, or, Arcade1up's doing good. Did you want to invest in us kind of thing? Now, me, I don't get into all the analytics. That's why James Hates Everything is here, because he's going to educate me and you guys to let us know kind of like, what are your thoughts with all this? We're now closing out of January and radio silence. There hasn't been a video. There hasn't been a live stream. I mean, that's easy. James, we just hopped on right now. We're 10 minutes deep. You could give us, you can't give the community 10 minutes. What are your thoughts on all this, man?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, honestly, Travis's comments are true. Why should they spend, $25, $30, $70,000 on a booth at CES? But let's try to remember that Arcade1up hasn't had a booth at CES except for like twice, in the last 5 years. So most of the time what they've done, you had COVID in the middle, so they just did things online. They would make announcements during CES of new products, which is exactly what they did last year. They set up at a suite at a hotel. They did some press releases, which did get, what's the
publicity or?
Yeah, it's publicity. I'm trying to think of the company. The
CNET.
CNET. There you go.
Hey, I got your back here. I got your back.
Right. Brought in CNET and a lot of others reported on it. I remember when that happened, the Casinocade was all over the place. You kept seeing the articles and stories all about that thing. But in reality, they didn't actually go to CES. They just did the press releases. They had the suite. And of course, console kits and Kongs R Us dropped by and got to see it. And of course, the big thing was, where was the Casinocade? Because they were hiding it from those guys. But even before that, Arcade1up had just coincided releases for CES, so they would do the press releases. I think 2022 was the only one they'd done at a booth since like 2018, if I remember right, 2019 maybe. And so the big thing isn't that they weren't at CES. It's that they literally have nothing to announce, because you don't even have to go set up a suite. If you've got something, you can just release a press release and it'll get all kinds of attention, right? And especially during CES, when every company wants to be the ones to break some new product announcement, right, and get the eyes on it. So the fact that they don't even have rehashes to announce, to me, is a big sign of what's to come for the year, because it doesn't take much for them to slap a sticker on the side of one of these and call it a different cab. you could have had an Atari announcement with Missile Command or Asteroids in the way that design is. You could have had a new Pac-Man cab from one of the other Pac-Mans that are on that, and it would have been easy. Doesn't require them to retool, just put some new stickers on, and here's a new release. The fact that they didn't even do that tells me that they're probably not going to do rehashes this year, quite honestly. We might see one or two, but I think they're comfortable sitting on the ones they released last year in the market. I think the deluxes, they did a ton of those. There was almost a deluxe for every month. And so they feel like they've released 12 to 13 products last year, even though we really only cared about one or two of those being new. I think they have enough product in the market that they're going to sit back, and we might get one or two new ones, like an XL rumored, maybe a new deluxe for a new title. But I think we're likely not even to see rehashes. If we do, it'll only be Street Fighter. So they can have
Really? So
something at
you
Evo.
don't even think we're gonna get like we're talking, when we're talking rehashes, because I know Jason, our moderator, he threw out the idea of, Arcade1up doesn't have like Sega, they don't have Konami, and they don't have like Taito anymore. We'll get into that more with kind of like the John D news that's kind of going around the community. But I was thinking, okay, take those aside, right? Well, maybe I can get a Golden Tee Deluxe. I mean, that would be kind of cool still. I would buy that day one. They, update it a little bit. It's seamless design. You got the light up coin door, the proper marquee now, because, the first generation, the Swan design, they kind of messed that up. Maybe they make the control panel a little bit deeper, bigger, so when you're hitting the trackball, doesn't hit the screen kind of thing. Like, that would be cool. So I'm like, okay, well, what else could they do? I mean, they could do Ridge Racer Deluxe. I mean, that's a Bandai Namco. It seems like they only, based on that theory, only have Bandai Namco and like Atari. Because I don't even know if they have Capcom at this moment. Like,
yeah, so I don't think it's a case of not having some of the licenses. Clearly, they don't have the ones you just mentioned, but they could re-release Star Wars in a deluxe, but they chose to just throw new stickers on the existing cab and re-release it because it costs to retool that design in a deluxe. And it would be the same with Ridge Racer. The shape of Ridge Racer doesn't match any other cabinet, so they would only be able to sell like the Ridge Racer titles on it. And they're not going to go, it seems to me that they're not in the mood to go develop a new PCB. So if you look at the last 2 years of releases, it's the exact same PCB in every title. And so on Golden Tee, right? Why don't I think they're going to be a deluxe? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but the Golden Tee, the regular Golden Tee Classic doesn't have online play. So I think Arcade1up feels they can't release a title right now unless it also has some online component. Maybe that's just scoreboard like Golden Tee XL, but I think they really if they're going to re-release Golden Tee, it has to have online matchmaking.
Oh yeah, that would be dope, because if you think about it, first of all, every cabinet that you release should have online. Like, Buck Hunter didn't have it. Like, why wouldn't you? You can send out a patch update. You can also do like tournament integration. You could do app integration. It makes no sense that a Wi-Fi antenna isn't stuck on every single one of these things.
Yeah.
That's something that like if I was talking directly to 1UP sitting at the head of the table kind of thing, there's no excuse for this. Like that, I feel like that and a light up coin door, there's no excuse. Like, you're telling me that 25-cent light up coin door is making or breaking these cabs?
Yeah, I mean, if they're throwing that coin door, it should have the light up, like you said. That's got to be a 20-cent part.
Yeah, and when you buy it in bulk, it could be even less than that. Yeah. I mean, it's just so, geez, yeah. Well, that's depressing. So, like, with that being said, I mean, you talked about Street Fighter, and the more and more I hear about people talking about that list, that leaked Arcade1up list, that in the beginning I thought was just bologna sausage. You had 720 on there. I'm like, come on, like. The MVSX, I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. But now that I kind of hear people talking about it more, it was interesting to see, like, was that like John D's last hoorah? And then he was kind of making up this list, and then, like, I got released from Arcade1up kind of thing. like I don't know. There could be a lot of speculation behind like what we could have had if John D was still there. But I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on like that leaked list? Like, oh, real quick too, and I don't want to gloss this over. Shout out to Council Fanboy. He just donated 10 Cornercade crew memberships. So Cold as Bryce, Addicted to Arcade1up, Real Moflo, Glarezilla, Skyhook, Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger, Devastator Omega, T Prez, and Tim are all members of the Cornercade. Oh, also, I guess Mrs. Cornercade got thrown into that. I thought she was already a member though. Maybe
Maybe.
can it be a double member? Like I don't know. But yeah, I really do appreciate that, Council Fanboy. Thank you. We got a lot of people in the chat. James, if you could skim over the chat, I don't know if we have some good. I mean, there's so many questions here that let's see here. Stupid Fat Hobbit. One Up is being sold, and John D founded a financial backer. He is coming back under his own terms, and all Arcade1up products on hold till 2025. That's my prediction. Wow, that is a very big and bold prediction. And when we said, James, when we said Arcade or is John D back? I mean, there's a lot of people talking now. John D was in our chat last week, just stopping by and saying hi. So he wouldn't be doing this, guys, if he was just chilling and becoming working at a Burger King or something and being a upper management in that. He's got to be doing something video game related or even arcade related for him to be still floating around in the community. But what are your? That's kind of like what you were saying, right? Your predictions on 2024.
Yeah, so I think, man, the John D thing could go deep, right? He's the guy 6 months ago everybody loved to hate, and then as soon as he was gone, now we all want him back.
Yeah, it's kind
Because
of
we
like you don't know what you
realized what
got
he
till it's
brought to
gone.
the table.
Yeah.
And there's just so much to say about John. I think Arcade1up wouldn't be what it is without him. He brought in all those licenses. That's his entire professional career, is licensing in the video game space, even before Capcom. And so he has a plethora of knowledge that I would say his replacement doesn't, right? And so, like Kevin Clausen, points out, we can't rely on Cyrus. He got us Kith and Casino and the Casino Cade. Kevin Clausen also brought us the 7-Eleven Pac-Man, or Cyrus did, and
Yeah.
that seems to be his focus. That and Infinity game boards. So you said earlier Arcade1up hasn't been speaking to the community and releasing any info. Well, if you're over on Instagram, they're producing a new video almost daily. It's just all Infinity game tables. And when they mention the arcades, it's usually just stealing somebody else's video and reposting it. But they're out there
Interesting. Yeah,
making new
interesting.
Infinity game table content on an almost daily basis, which is weird to me. So that combined with, you mentioned the Kokum statement earlier. I mean, the great thing about that Kokum statement uh, is their parent company is a publicly traded company, which is why they had to have all that disclaimer stuff on there about investments and forward-looking statements, because the SEC regulates them. So they're $1 billion a year company in revenue that their parent is. And so they have to be very careful when they tell everybody things are going great and all, and how much how positive they are about Arcade1up's future, because people will make investments into that company based on that. And the thing you have to understand about their parent company, even though they make $1 billion a year in revenue, they actually lose 31 million. So they do a ton of cash, but they're losing money at the same time. And so, you know, a lot of that announcement with Kokum and their positivity around Arcade1up tells me less about how well Arcade1up is doing and more about how much cash Kokum needed. They had that 50 some $million and backed up Arcade1up product. You've seen what's out there for purchase. Some of those calves were released 4 years ago, and Kokum is still sitting on all those. Compare that to a company like New Wave Toys or somebody where their products are maybe in the market after they're shipped 30 days if you're lucky. And these Arcade1up, ups are being ordered in such quantity by Kokum that they're sitting around for years and years and years. And so that's why they liquidated. They sold everything to Ollie's and blew everything out, because they had to get rid of that inventory. And fortunately, they in that announcement they told us how much product they bought from Arcade1up, which is about 20 million. So that tells us Arcade1up's probably doing about that in revenue. You could argue there's additional revenue on that because of digital game sales on the Infinity game table, which may be why they're leaning so heavily into that. It, probably cost them pennies to distribute a board game on the Infinity game table versus the production cost around an Arcade1up. So that's really where my thinking about them not really wanting to release another cab is. Most of these cabs only came out in the last quarter, right? There was a big rush between, August through this December. That's when pretty much all of them released. I think we had a couple around July, and they announced them all year, but they didn't start shipping till way late. So them keeping them around another year, I don't think really hurts them overall, and it gives them time to actually, fill their coffers and reduce their expenses. Because if they're not investing a ton of money in research and development of some new cab, then they can just kind of coast on the money they have. So I think your overall point you were asking about was the leaked game list. And so as we close the loop there, I think every one of those cabs is on their list of things they want to do, right? And they likely have talked and even planned out to some extent each one of those cabinets. The question is, do we actually think any retailer will buy half of those? And unless Arcade1up switches to a direct consumer option, I don't know how any of those see the light of day. They're games that are niche, that certain people like and certain people hate. And some of them, like you mentioned, 720, require a whole new control scheme that they don't have. So we know one of the big expenses with Blitz was that 48-way magnetic joystick. They haven't used that in anything else. Maybe they could use that in 720, but that had to be an expensive design process for them to only use it for Blitz. And so if you think about what other titles you could do with the cabinets they have out there are quite a few. The question is, will retailers buy them? And
yeah, do you think they could use that? Was it 48-way or 49-way? I don't
know, whatever they call it.
It's
no way.
50-way.
It's a magnetic control scheme that it can go all over the place. Right?
You think they would use that in a game like Smash TV, or is that just going to be a traditional like 8-way octagonal stick?
I imagine it's just going to be the traditional 8-way. If that even had 8-way, those might have been. I can't imagine they were 4-way, but.
Yeah, because that was another like rumored title, and we talk about licenses that they've lost. Jason brought up a great point. He said they haven't released anything from those big major like Konami, Sega, Taito, like 2-3 years kind of thing. It's like, wow, has it already been that long? And it's like they kind of just been going back to the realm of their Atari, Midway, Capcom, kind of thing. And it's just like we keep getting the same stuff. And is that now coming to fruition for what you were saying? We saw this press release. It's like, hey, we're just trying to save face at the end of the day, make a little profit so we can look good, so we can sell the company. And which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, they're going out of business then. Actually, it'd be cool if they sold it, because bozos kind of like that are in that company that are pushing like the Infinity game board and just these generic to the newbies product. It literally it shows you the direction that Arcade1up is going in. They are not, once John D was gone, Scott Backrap, they're not going to the hardcores. They're tailoring towards new people, could be younger people at the end of the day. They could care less right now. It kind of seems like about like keeping it traditional form factors, side arts. They don't care about. They want to make it snazzy and flashy and and kind of just put their pizzazz on it to try to sell something. And at the end of the day, when you have like younger people, and this is what I kept preaching and preach, when you have guys like Cyrus doesn't know Arcade1up or arcade history kind of thing. He doesn't, I don't know it, but I know more than Cyrus knows as far as that goes. I know people don't want a Killer Instinct with chrome T-molding because Cyrus, if they did, you would have sold 500 2 years ago. He couldn't even sell 500 of that thing.
Yeah, and
Like, so it's little things like that it's like, stop. Just do what made that game successful. Let's say Smash TV comes out. Just keep it the same side art. You don't need to fancy things up a little bit. You don't need to do nothing. You really don't. But yeah, like that kind of stuff is so it's like it makes you scratch your head, and it's like, wow, like what you were saying, I don't have social media like that. I don't have Instagram, but wow, that really like puts a light bulb in my head, like, wow, all this emphasis on this damn Infinity game board. They're not even like an arcade company anymore. They're just like a gaming company, or like how would you say it? Like a Hasbro kind of, like, we're just gonna come
yeah.
out with board games and handhelds and wacky weird shit.
So I think you have to keep a couple things in mind, right? And really, since the 2000s, since the dawn of the internet, startups have changed. Nobody makes a company anymore to be around for 100 years, to be a generational company that they're going to pass on to their kids. Everybody creates a startup nowadays in order to get venture capital, to 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 go public, or to have an exit strategy of a buyout. That's why you do a startup. You do it for the love, but you also know you're not going to be in it for the long haul. And so it doesn't surprise me. And I would argue that Scott B probably, this was a lot of his plan from the very beginning. Go in hard. They won the award from Walmart that pretty much gave them the exclusivity to release the first home arcade cabinet, right? And as they secure the retail space, that's highly valuable to other companies. So if you can buy your way into Walmart, that's actually huge for somebody, even if they sell something completely different, like toasters or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the origin, Scott B's the origin of Arcade1up is tastemakers, right? Where they Hatchimals and all those other kind of um, mystery box type games. I mean, he's a toy guy. And so Arcade1up is just big toys, but they've also made small toys, whether it's the countercades or the collectorcade, which I guess is a scale replica of an Arcade1up 3/4 cab, which seems like just ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Or the couchcade or the giant joystick or the infinity game table. These are all just toys to them and gaming in general. So as they feel, as long as it's in that gaming space, they're okay. And I am betting they have a lot of success selling the board games on the Infinity game table because it's their Play Store. They can sell them for $10 or $5, whatever they charge. They make, you know, 30% of that if they're doing like the Apple model and giving the publisher like Parker Brothers the other 70%. And it's pure cash. And we heard rumors last year that I believe they patented or filed a trademark on uh, an online delivery system for arcade games. So my guess is they're working on some sort of multicade or even completely different, something like AntStream that is just going to be a service for your PC that you could drop in and purchase those games. We know they have all these licenses that they're never going to make a cab for, whether that's Double Dragon or Ghost and Goblins, Alien versus Predator, these things that people want, but no retailer is going to buy. So maybe they're going to try to bypass the physical product altogether and just say, hey, get our distribution and you can buy the legal rights to play those game on your computer. That is, again, if they can develop it. And I think the app that they released is phase one of that, right? They get us all using the app and they get us comfortable with logging in there and doing things on there. And it really gives them a count of how many customers they have and how many cabs each customer owns. They're mining us for a ton of data through that app that will allow them to, to really convert us and tell potential buyers and investors what their true market is, as opposed to everything that we assume, which is, the vast majority of their customers just buy one Pac-Man or one Street Fighter from Walmart and call it a day.
Yeah, yeah.
My experience is anybody I've ever met that bought one now has like 10 of them. So
Yeah, it's
so
an
I think you
addicting
buy
hobby.
one and
Like,
you're just
yeah.
load up.
Yeah, like you want to fill it out. You're like, well, this is pretty dope. It's bringing me nostalgia. Let me build out a little mini home arcade here. Real quick, I know Council Fanboy donated another 10 Cornercade Crew memberships. So thank you so much, buddy, for doing that. Just going on, I want to make sure everything is caught up on that. For some reason, James, Restream doesn't show when you donate memberships. So I had to check the other chat on YouTube. It's so stupid. And also, Restream, can you please allow for 2 audio inputs so we can play some cool sound effects on the show? Come on now. So, we got a cool question here. It says, lack of nostalgia from Cyrus isn't necessarily a problem, but I will be honest with you, it doesn't help the problem, because that's what I kind of feel like. He's too young to really know. Like, you can watch history and you can study history, but if you're not actually in history and a part of history, you can't really then speak on it, I guess, a little bit, for lack of a better word. But I think that's just like the tip of the iceberg, because John D was that older wave that like experienced a lot of cool hype in arcades and stuff. But says the problem here is he sounds like a yes man, which is not what the company needs right now. And this is kind of what I floated out the idea, James. Does he go to said Best Buy with his entourage and they bring the cabinet, the Double Dragon cab, and they say, Best Buy, look at the newest cab we have. Why don't you give it a shot, play it, see what can happen. And we're looking to sell this to you. Do you guys want to buy it? And they kind of float the idea of saying no. Do you guys have like another Pac-Man? Okay, we'll do that. Instead of, no, hear me out. Like, we're locking the room. We're going to get this done. I have a community of people that want this. Here's some arcade history facts on it. Whatever, said game. You could put any game in there that they track and field, anything, literally. And hey, this is the top 10 in arcade titles that have ever been sold. Like, what is the real thought there? Does he just say like, okay, we're good, and we'll never know? But or is it like, does he fight for these titles to say, hey, look, this is going to be a good one, guarantee it. Here's why, this, that, and the other. Because the community now, these people, we can, I never had a problem with Arcade1up re-releasing things, but when they don't have the new titles, and I don't know if you've tuned into the show when I have said, you really only need 4 titles a year. You do 2 80s and 2 90s, or late 2000s, early 2000s, whatever you want to do. That's giving you a new title every 3 months. That is very obtainable. That's an entire summer of just one title, right? And in between, kind of like what Arcade1up did previously, you can release 25,000 re-releases. It doesn't even matter, because you're going to satisfy both parties. If you did 10 re-releases, right, and just put them in between, so 2 a month or whatever the case may be, I mean, you would be coming out with title. Like, there would be action, stuff to talk about. Things would be like, the community, not just us, but other people would be talking about this stuff. And you then would get new titles flowing in, but then re-releasing, redeveloping those older titles, like a Golden Axe, for example, that needs a much needed upgrade. I mean, can you imagine a Golden Axe in like the NBA Jam form factor? Like, that would look beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, and then I always said too, on a caveat to that, is no more 4-player decks, only do 2-player. You can play with people online.
Yeah, so I would argue that's exactly what they did last year, right? So they released, essentially one for every month. We got a deluxe cab for every month. They released the Fast and Furious, the Casino-cade. What was the Time Crisis? And then Pac-Man XL. Those were our 4 new ones. And then everything else was a re-release. So they basically followed that model, which is how they ended up with like 13, 14 cabs last year, plus that Infinity game board. So I think go ahead.
No, I was going to say you're not wrong. The only caveat though is didn't they do all this like on the back half of like Q3? Like they didn't really spread this out. It's like we just in like October got like boom, 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 Miss Pac-Man. Like what the like this is cool. Like so you had that feeling for a little bit, but you're like, it's NBA Jam, it's 4-player. I'm not going to get that, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Like everything came out in the last like 5-6 months of the year, and that's I haven't been in this space a long time, right? I looked at these things since they came out in awe, but I was like, man, those are like for little kids. I can't like bend over and play that thing before they had the risers. And I finally bought my first one. I bought an MK2 Legacy in July of 2022. And then by Christmas, I had 13 of the damn things. And that was because not only did I love it the second I got to play one, and I wanted a ton more, but they started releasing all in rapid succession Blitz and Marvel MVC2, and then you had the big discounts that were happening on Ridge Racer and Simpsons and the Cabaret, Pac-Man Plus looking thing. And so they released a bunch of new ones at the end of that year. And I think they followed that pattern again into 2024. Like, hey, let's drop some really big titles right before the holiday shopping season and hope to grab some of these sales. But then at the same time, they've set up this history for the last 2 years where they drop half their cabinets to 50% or below. So nobody's buying them throughout the year, or very few people that just want to get it right out the gate or really love a title. And so they just wait till the end of the year and then they discount them to really what they probably should be priced at all year long and blow them all out. But I think that's a pattern that we're going to continue to see. It's nice that they announce them throughout the year, but I think we're going to see where when they do come out, it's going to be at the end towards the holiday rush again, because that's when they want you talking about them. That's when they want consumers opening their wallet so that they can make the sales.
Yeah, that really stinks because like when you sit here as a home arcade, fan
for our wallet.
Yeah, you're just like, come on, like like I want to do something. Speaking of doing something, James hates everything. I was in last night, no, 3 nights ago, not even. Tony C, a supporter of the channel, he was in another stream I was in. I think I was with the Arcadian stream, and we're just saying, let's go, get in the chat hype, seeing what they were doing. The dude reaches out to me and says, "Here, let me bring this up real quick because I want to see." I posted on the community tab, so all you new Cornercade crew members can definitely see this. But he sent me a AtGames Legends Core Max. Have you ever played around with that thing before?
I have not, but I did see your post that you got it, so I'm really interested to find out what you hear about it.
Dude, totally free. I mean, it comes with like 100 games, so there's like Burger Time on there. Believe it or not, I've never played Burger Time. Never. I've never played it, so this will be cool. There's Tetris, Bubble Bobble, the AtGames stuff. Yeah. We're not coming out with bangers, but I will say this. Tony C, I do want to say thank you so much for free. He said, take it. See what you think. I might do a review on it. We'll see. I do have to get a couple controllers. So, I obviously want to play 2-player. I'll get a couple wireless 360 or Xbox controllers. And then I want to put coin ops on it because you can put coin ops on it.
Nice.
And I think right there and then it'll be well worth it. I mean, I could just sit back in the bed, play it on the 65-inch TV and just chill playing whatever. I think that would be really, really cool. So we'll see what happens in the future as I kind of get and chip away, and I'll let you guys know how cool this is. But that's my first AtGames product. So I have an MVSX. I got an AtGames. It's not just an Arcade1up show anymore. Watch out. Watch out. Oh, and speaking of which, I heard Kevin Clausen, and this is like way in the chat, but I noticed he said, "Hey, Danny, you just came out with your top 10 most played arcade cabinets in the Cornercade. How come the MVSX couldn't make the cut?" Well, Kevin, I'll tell you what just happened today to the MVSX. My left joystick doesn't click down anymore. So there's no like clicky micro switch when you go down. It doesn't do anything. It just goes down. There's no response. I can go left, right, and up. And I'm like, oh, great. I can't play any games on this thing now He's got to be able to select the game. So that's why it can't make the top 10 right now. She is down. So we're going to have to dissect that a little bit, take it apart, and see what we can do. So we'll see what happens. That's why it didn't make the top 10. But yeah, guys, there's a lot. I mean, Arcade1up filled with things. I just hope at the end of the day, James, that we get product and we get interesting product. I mean, it's a win for everybody at the end of the day. But I will tell you this. Is John D back, guys? John D has made surfaces kind of here and there. He let us all know, hey, in April, I can start talking and saying stuff. I would assume, it's not too hard to dig the breadcrumbs here, but if he comes back, he's going to go live with B Kong immediately. Now we hope at the Cornercade to have John D grace us with his presence and just kind of fill us in, have some general discussion, see what he's up to. But we'll see. I can't promise anything on that. But hold on one second. My son is here. This is a surprise treat, guys.
Nice.
Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. It's family first right now. Hi, Logan. Come here. So Logan doesn't have a shirt on right now. I don't know why he doesn't. Okay, but let me pass him off to Mom real quick, okay?
Or
there you go.
Or me.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you, guys. All right. That is you never know what's gonna happen live at the Cornercade, dude. That was too funny. I love my son, guys. When I have these lights on, the kids just my daughter's at the age where she's like, oh yeah, daddy's working. And I was like, I appreciate that. Thank you for the space. But my son, he's like, I want to go live. Well, he got his 30 seconds of fame right there. Too funny. But okay, so John D, yeah, so could he possibly be back? Now, OTG, Moat, Godly, and Retro Ralph all had a podcast show on OTG's channel. And there was some talks. Retro Ralph was saying something like he tweeted out his location of where he was having tacos or something. And actually, he is they Googled search that or something like that from what I heard. And he is actually working out of the old Arcade1up building. So his old office, well, technically, I guess, old office for Arcade1up, he's still there. And it painted a picture in my head is he just is it all just decrepit and the lights are turned off and he's just sitting in the corner rocking Arcade1up. You're just having nightmares of Arcade1up. What is John D up to? We got a super chat from Council Fanboy. It's a $4.99 super chat. One update shows have stopped. There are no more one update shows happening. Remember when iArcade update show stopped? We all know what happened next. Ooh, very, very interesting point. Council Fanboy, thank you for that $4.99 super chat. But James, what do you think as far as this John D rumblings?
So I was watching Kongs R Us when he popped in, right? For the first time in 6 months, maybe. Long time. And so I was fired up. Here it means he can talk. Because one of the things that was pretty clear when he left is that he must be under some kind of non-disclosure agreement because he went dead silent. The other thing you could look at was Scott B and him both were rumored to have left at the exact same time. Neither one updated their LinkedIns throughout that entire time. And then John D pops up on B's stream and both of their LinkedIns get updated with they left in September of 2023. I think that's not a coincidence that they both updated at the same time. I think it's also not a coincidence that you saw Cyrus and some other employees that got promotions update their LinkedIn all at the same time. My guess, and I've shared this on my stream, is that they were under a temporary non-disclosure related to their severance packages that basically said you couldn't say anything about leaving the company for at least 3 months to give the new interim CEOs time to get control of things. And I think John D's announcement in April is the extended NDA that says now he can talk about whatever he wants. I think that, they gave him a brief one that he could make an announcement about no longer working there. And then there's another one that says you can't talk about the company or have any kind of compete until after 6 months. That would make sense for his April comment. course, it could be just as innocuous as he's trolling us. He's known to do that, right? And the April thing is just a joke. But based on some of the comments he made in B's stream, I don't think that's the case. I think he's actually going to be free to talk at that point. I made a comment about the potential of Arcade1up going out of business, and he replied with a prayer emoji, right? So the thought that he may go back to Arcade1up, I think they'd have to pay him a lot of money. It sounds like he's bitter just from some simple emoji. I could be reading it completely wrong. Maybe he's praying for their good fortunes. But I think that's a company that he put, he left a good job for, invested his blood, sweat, and tears, and took that from a company that was selling these mini cabinets to ones that's, they're doing 20 million plus in revenue a year. They've got these things all over. They're now owned by celebrities, and people have whole arcades. There's a big and growing community on YouTube surrounding them. I think he only can be proud of what he did, regardless of the circumstances in which he left. And so I think long term, he wants to be part of this community, whether he stays in the home arcade spaces or not. And that's why he's hanging around. I think he's been watching all these streams from the beginning and having himself a laugh at a lot of the rumors and you know prognosticating about what's happening and what are they going to do, because he knows, right? He was part of the planning for years and years. He knows what's going to happen over the next couple of years. He has that insight. And so I'm just waiting. I think it'll be real interesting when he comes back and can start talking. I think that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool because, we were all just kind of left like, whoa, what happened? Like, what's going, this came out of the blue kind of thing. And, here we are reaching for just like, hey, what's the next title going to be? And then we hear all this rumblings. We're like, oh, wow. And 100%, I'm pretty sure it was some sort of, NDA, because now Davin and Dora are here and we don't know anything about them. And, different people are, different strokes for different folks. But if I'm running a company or if I'm fresh new, you get to know everybody and then you get to know the fans. Like, you come out and you say, hey, without you guys, we're a nothing company. So we really do appreciate the support. We're really excited for the future, 2024. We're going to see what can happen. We got our boy Cyrus here. Like, that was 15 seconds you had to say.
Oh, yeah.
And Cyrus is in the house. Cyrus, take it away, man. Like, and then he could kind of do his thing with Travis MCP and whoever. But it's like, some people don't want to do that. Some people are, hey, like, I'm behind the scenes, but you lead from the front, and, you want to reinsure your fan base. And there was really no reassurance, like when a coach gets fired in any type of sport, there's a press conference that's held saying, hey, look, this is the direction of the franchise. We brought these new people in, and we're going to look to compete and win in the next season. It's the same thing. It doesn't change. We just recently got a new GM and a new assistant manager. That happens. Like, and then they come out, they know the staff, they start to know who their surrounding members are as far as other management. That happens in every single business. And, you don't just stay quiet and it's like, oh, I don't even know who my boss is kind of thing. I was like, no, so it's very interesting that, like, it's been a minute since, Davin and Dora have been here. And we haven't heard anything. So, like, me as a consumer, you start to, I don't know, the word is worry. I'm not worried about anything. I want there to be more arcade companies like a New Wave Toys or said company that would, and Tony, look at Tony C's in the chat. He made it. Thank you so much, man. Like I said before, there's Tony C, James.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So, but yeah, I really wish there was more companies making 3/4 scale. Now, could John D be in the mix of getting a new company rumblings? Who knows? I don't know I don't know anything. It's all speculation. That's what's having fun at the end of the day, because we can see who was right, who was wrong, and who was indifferent, kind of thing. But if there was a bad breakup with Arcade1up, well, John D, I personally feel like is the one you don't want to have a bad breakup with. Like, he's going to come out wanting blood, and that's just his competitive nature, I would assume. So if he was starting said company or was part of a said company, that could be really interesting, a little rivalry. I mean, he could easily, when licenses are up, like we just saw with Killer Instinct, he could easily move into, say, they're a tight knit group from what I've been told. I don't know anything about licensing. This is above my head. I just want the games. James hates everything. I just want a Hydro Thunder stand up so I can play and have some fun with my kids. That at the end of the day is all that matters. But who knows? Who knows at the end of the day? Could he then say, Capcom, don't work with Arcade1up anymore. I got this new venture I'm trying. And who knows? It could just be anything. I don't know. But that could be kind of interesting too.
He could certainly poison the well. I mean, he would find himself getting sued if Arcade1up could ever prove that he was going around, to Capcom and others to badmouth Arcade1up and get them to drop him. I mean, that's going to be, a liable type thing. He just can't technically do it. Doesn't mean somebody won't do it. You obviously, it's hard to break your emotions from what you want to do and what legally you can do. And I think Tech Buzz Gaming made a comment a little bit ago about, John D probably has ulterior motives, right? He wouldn't be hanging around and telling us things unless he has something else up his sleeve that he needs from us, right? And it reminds me of the saying, like, and I would modify it a bit and say, "Beware of John D bearing gifts."
Yeah, right.
There could be something up there. He's had a history of some of these things where, leaks some things that may or may not be accurate, gets people all excited talking about stuff, and it sometimes it results in us not getting what we actually want. I prefer to be on the positive side. I know John D's put his foot in his mouth a few times, but I know other people in this community have really been burned by him, whether that's Tech Buzz or Glenn's retro show. Arcade1up has, burned a lot of bridges in the last 4 years. And so there's a lot of people that, wish them ill will, I will say. They don't have necessarily a positive outlook on that company because of the actions they've taken. And as far as John D's concerned, again, no offense to Cyrus, but he's not a replacement for John D. I mean, maybe he can give you some kind of Pizza Hut Ninja Turtles collaboration, but he's not exactly the guy that's going to go get you a new license from another company that they don't have yet. I think.
Yeah, you're 100%. Like, I don't think he has that. He's not in that intertwine. There's no way.
Yeah, when we hear what we see of him online is his personality, and I have no doubt about that. But a lot of that comes from, I'm going to sound like some kind of boomer or something, from his age, right? He's got a naivety to him that doesn't give I would say it's an insecurity more than a naivety, more than anything, which is why when he gets on channels like yours and others and talks, he always falls back into that robotic corporate speak and won't share any information. He doesn't understand, like, if you're truly a senior VP, you are one of the top people at that company, up at the top, right? You might have a boss, but you don't have a lot of them. And that comes with a position of power, as we've seen John D act on that power throughout his entire tenure.
Oh yeah.
And the transition Cyrus needs to make is that he's the man now. He can say stuff whether they want him to or not. Not saying he should. He should still be smart about what he shares, but he can flat out say, "Yeah, we're not going to do that," or that's something we're considering, but it's highly unlikely. He could get people to at least stop barking up the wrong tree without letting him in on what they're maybe actually doing that they want to keep under the covers.
Yeah, because John D did that all the time. He would always he'd always give it away like, "Oh yeah, that's impossible. We can't do that." And he's literally like working on it as he's saying that. So, but you can still, like I said, you can have truth. You can inject people with some truth serum. It's not gonna do anything to the licensors. Like, you could say, "Hey, that would be really cool if we did that," or I don't know if that would sell. maybe we can give out a community poll on our fan pages and see if we can gather some interest for it. Because I think that would be a really cool idea. And you could say like, hey, at the end of the day, I, as Cyrus, want to bring everybody every single title, but that's not always going to happen. Like there's other moving parts in, but we at Arcade1up are going to do our damnedest to make you guys happy. And Darren here shedding a little light on this. He said, hey, some companies hand out titles like candy. The question is if the title is commensurate with the actual responsibilities and what the individual is empowered to actually do. Now, Darren, were you ever in on any of these like conversations at all as to, I don't know, like, we have said title on a whiteboard. What do you guys think we should do? How should we go about making it? Is this even possible? Do they even care what the community wants? Is this more of just like, hey, we got a relationship with Bandai Namco? Let's see how many Bandai Namco cabs we can put out. Okay, they got the Pac-Man, they got this, they got Time Crisis. Like, I guess that's the real question at the end of the day. What do you think, James?
Yeah, well, I think the licensing, as Darren said, is such a strange ball of wax. He mentioned some people hand them out like candy. I think he's probably referring to Taito there. They'll give you a license to anything and say, as long as you put it on something, we're okay with it. Make some product, we're good. We don't care how many you sell. And I think we've gotten more info from other companies than we ever have from Arcade1up on what the licensing is really like. Quartercade's Numbskull, they mentioned that in order to do one of the Disney properties, so whether that's, the Marvel or DC, at this point, Indiana Jones, man, they own like everything at this point, anything Fox. You have to do $1 million in licensing revenue to them, which is a massive, massive deal for most companies, especially these small ones that are only looking to sell 10,000 units of something. To turn around and pay them $1 million in a year is just outrageous. And so that prevents a lot of things from happening. Then you have other ones where even if the company wanted to do it, like Konami, I think Konami wants to do track and field. I think they would be smart to do track and field this year with the Olympics coming up. But the artist that did the art on the side of the cab doesn't want Konami to use their art. They never secured the art license back then, and so now they can't do it. So the question becomes for Arcade1up is if Konami agrees to let us have track and field, are consumers going to be okay with different art on the side? Because consumers melted down over Blitz's art, and let's face it, the real art on the Blitz cab is terrible. That really crappy rendered San Francisco player or whatever.
No, it's like Green Bay Packers. Yeah.
It was horrible. And I mean, it's fine. That's what was on the side of it. But me as a Broncos fan, I'd much rather look at Terrell Davis on the side than some rubbery looking Packer player. But but I get that. I get that people want the perfect recreation. I want that in most of my cabs. I want it to look right. And so, can they do similar art that is close enough that people would be happy with? I think they could, but I don't know that they have confidence in it. That was really John D's genius, is John D knew how to leak these things in a way that got people fired up about them. And then he could go to a retailer and see like, look at all this chatter. Look at all these people. They're all fired up for this cab. You need to buy it from us. Let's make it. Let's move forward with it. Where that's clearly, doesn't seem like anything that's happening now, though. I think didn't Michael B like let out of the bag that the leak on the AVP was intentional so that they could measure the community's response to that cab, and when the community just crapped on it, they are the ones that pulled it.
What I personally don't understand is why can't you just on your Facebook or social media, on each one of them, put a poll as to say, make 5 choices and say, community, which one would you like to see? That's it. That's it. And it would be perfect for them because they don't do any live streams. So you don't have to talk. You don't have to put up a production. You don't have to have your AirPod Cyrus looking like this. Like you don't have to do any of that. You could just do nothing. But I got a big surprise for you. James hates everything. Let's go. There is somebody that was in the chat. I invited on the show. He's already here, guys. Give a drum roll. I think he could add his 2 cents to the pot. Tech Buzz is back, baby. Let's go. Welcome to the Cornercade, my guy.
What's going on, guys?
Nothing, man.
Excellent.
Glad to see you made it here. I know you're coming to the show late here. We're talking about John D coming back, possibly. You know, there's been rumblings. He could be doing nothing, you know, on his LinkedIn. And I don't even have LinkedIn, but apparently on his LinkedIn it says soon.
James,
Obviously, something's coming.
James, you read my mind when I put in that comment 100%. What I was trying to get across is John D likes to troll people. John D has something up his sleeve. So let's drop some truth serum here, right? Let's drop. Can I say that, or is that copyrighted by somebody else?
No, I think I used it a little bit ago.
Okay, all right. So let's come clean with the community. Let's come clean with people that are in here. You're talking about John D. John D came to me. John D was let go from Arcade1up on July 26th, 2023. That is official. That is when he was let go. I started putting 2 and 2 together. During that period, John D got the list that was approved, the list that you guys were talking about. That list was approved by the board of directors from Arcade1up while John D and Scott Bacharach were there. It's the same list that Travis lied to everybody and said Michael B did not receive. Michael B did, in fact, receive that list. Michael B has come clean. Michael B has told me and others that that was indeed the list. They were doing damage control. Now, from that point, okay, to James's point, John D has the licenses. He has everything. John D came to me and he says, Steven, he says, I want you to leak this. He said, I want you to leak the list. And I'm like, no, I'm not leaking this list. He goes, no. He said, you'll be the first to leak this list. I said, I am not leaking this list. I want no part of it. I don't want to be part of the drama. I'm done. He goes, no, somebody's got to leak this. We're going to take down Arcade1up. And I said, can I give it to people that are new in the community to do videos about to do that? He says, I don't care who you give it to. And I told each and every one, and the people that received my list from me, Console Fanboy, other people got that list. I said, you don't even have to mention me. Just take the list and do whatever you want with it. I don't care if you just sit on it. Do whatever you want. Take it for what it's worth. John D also came to me and said that they were in the process of putting together that claw machine that everybody was talking about. That was, in fact, a product coming. Now, whatever happened between it. So I took a lot of crap for that. I know the community took a lot of crap because Travis fed a whole line of BS to everybody because that's his job. That's his job with Arcade1up is to be damage control. And if people don't believe that yet, you got to remember something with Travis. Travis says he's been in the community since 2018. That's a bold-faced lie. Travis came into the community when Glenn Planamento brought him on the Retro Buzz. So let's get that straight. If you don't believe me, I have the episode archived on my channel. Travis is not the voice of the voiceless. He is not CM Punk, no matter what he thinks he is. He's just a tech guy in an arcade world. Okay, so I have a little bit of animosity there with him and I because I don't like when people lie to the community. That's why I had to step away. I was like, I can't do this anymore. There's so much bull crap and misinformation going around and nobody's saying anything. Everybody's just like, yes, Travis, or yes, John D. John D does not have your best interest at heart. John D's up to something. I agree. He's in the process of doing his own company. Maybe it's good for us. Maybe it's not. But remember, he's coming to us for a reason. And that's all I got to say on that front of it. You guys can disagree with me. You can get mad at me. But that is the truth of how everything went down with this list. Came right from the horse's mouth. So I've got receipts.
I hate that terminology. Please don't say
that. I gotta have them
it.
these day and age. If you make a statement, everybody's gonna ask for them.
Well, that's interesting things. I'm like, we all come from kind of like different knowledgeable backgrounds as far as like where people get their information. At the end of the day, I just want the games. I want to be able to have
That's where I'm
fun,
at right now.
play the
Yeah.
games.
I don't care who makes them.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, I mean, there's just a lot to think about right there. I don't know, like, James, what do you think?
Well, to piggyback on what you were just saying about the games, I think that's why most people are frustrated with Arcade1up is
Yep.
that they've hit a product that we all like totally love, right? These replica arcade machines that can fulfill our childhood dreams of having an arcade in our house at a reasonable price, something we can share that experience with our children and pass down. And it's so frustrating to watch them squander what is like the world's best opportunity to make a long-lasting company on just releasing Pac-Mans and Street Fighters over and over. But again, my comments are going to be all opinion based, right? That not from any inside knowledge.
Mhm.
But I would venture to bet that John D isn't planning on starting his own company. He may be trying to get a gig somewhere. I think he'll just end up at some other video game company doing their licensing like he had in the past. I think it's what he's doing has ulterior motives, it's simply out of spite. And I, can somewhat understand that, right? When they rip your position out from under you, though some of that's probably of his own making, you can
Yeah.
understand why somebody, like you were saying, let's take down Arcade1up, where that's just his sole goal is just pure spite. Like, you took me out, I'm going to take you out. I'm going to make it your position hell.
And we don't know what happened. We really
Right, we
don't. We
don't.
don't know what happened between the new owners and them and everything that went on. And I just want to address, this is no drama, folks. I'm not trying to create drama here.
Yeah.
We're talking about John D, right? And so we have to put out the facts that I have, right? That's the reality here. So some of the guys sitting there going, oh, here we go. This isn't drama. You guys want the facts. I'm giving you the facts. You can like it, love it, or leave it. That's Danny, I'm not trying to tear it up here. We're trying to have an intelligent discussion about John D. And I personally think people are going to be disappointed like they were with the New Wave Toys pinball.
Yeah.
We kind of have some insight with that.
As far as the John D rumors are concerned?
Yeah, I think people are overhyping it. Like, maybe the guy just wants to talk about his next venture. Maybe, he's a licenser. So, I mean, maybe he's finally going to say where he's working and what he's doing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't want to speculate too hard with it on what his future is, because I don't want it to potentially ruin his livelihood.
Yeah.
And I think that's what everybody needs to understand here with the speculation. Don't go down a rabbit hole, because again, it's about the games. But when you start going down a certain rabbit hole, you don't want to affect the guy's livelihood. You don't. And if he gets caught up in drama, we'll call it that, right? The companies maybe that he's working for or potentially has a contract with, they might not want to do business with him. And that's not fair to him for a past community. That's just my 2 cents on that.
No, that's 100% true. I mean, that's a lot of that's the problem with being so public like he has been, right? Is you leave a trail, and that's always the fear of having a public persona, is what you do online is going to live forever. And so, you got to be very careful about that. And to your point, you could easily ruin somebody's somebody's whole reputation by rumor and nonsense. And especially if he's prevented even from defending himself right now, he can't come out and say anything. And so it's important to keep that in mind for sure.
And you got to remember, Arcade1up's a business. They got to do what's best for business. And I know, as much as we're all disappointed, but these behind the scene politics, and I'm not sure I'm 100% on board with people from the company getting to know people in the community, because what I've seen, okay, let's go back 5, almost 6 years. There wasn't a lot of us in this community. And back when me, Doug, and Glenn started the Retro Buzz back late 2018, Arcade1up was only 9 months deep into this, right? Arcade1up saw these live shows for the first time. No, there was no restream, there was no StreamYard, there was no nothing. We were doing a high-end show, and they thought it was great because they could get free marketing out of us.
Yep.
So they offered to sponsor us. I got a contract. This is all stuff I have. I could put out to the world. They asked us what we wanted. Obviously, we didn't want money. We said, how about you give us the cabinets ahead of time? We could review them. This was right around the time they were even talking about NBA Jam being the first online connected. So we're like, yeah, let's do that. Scott goes, name your price, put it down. You want counter cage, you want party cage, whatever. At the time, if you recall, they released at CES, or they announced those miniature, I don't remember what they were, like console type things. Do you remember that? Where
Yeah, like the Mega Man and all that.
Yes.
Thing?
Yeah. Glenn was really on board with them. He wanted them, so we had them in there. A week later, because AtGames was also working with us, approached us and worked with us, and we were trying to be neutral. We were trying to call all the companies right down the middle. John D and David McIntosh sent me a email invalidating the contract that we had signed about the sponsorship. So that was burn number one.
Yep.
Okay. John D then went over to Retro Ralph and Console Kit show that they were doing, the I forget what it was, the 1UP Weekly. No, you know what I'm talking about. The show that the Console Kits, okay.
Yep.
Because we wouldn't let them back on to talk every week about Arcade1up. We had no interest. We wanted to cover everybody. Okay. So John D had his boys at that time. He had Console Kits and he had Retro Ralph and a few others. Then later on, when those guys kind of fell off the Arcade1up train, he got another boys club, which we all know about. And I'm not calling these people out. And listen, you take an opportunity when it comes. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. Right. Then Travis comes in. He has a boys club. Do you see the pattern? It repeats itself because it starts at the top.
Yeah.
And to your point, when you start posting financials, people start being let go. They're trying to hype the company up to be sold. That's business, right? They want this to be sold, this company. Like I said last night on Biggie D's, it's not necessarily a bad thing if they sell. It really isn't. If a new company comes in, Danny, you could get those licenses and titles that you really want. So, like, let's not talk about them being sold as a bad thing. Maybe that's what they need to kind of push this, right?
Yeah, 100%.
John D wasn't the same. In fact, I think John D hurt the company by being out front facing. I mean, anybody that knows business, you don't put your second in command on stream sitting there cussing up a storm and smoking on air. It's not a good look for the company, right? Let's just be honest. Like if my COO did that or CEO did that, it would just look really, really bad. And you might say, well, that's the demographic here of this. You don't see Travis doing that as being the spokesperson, the liaison, if you will. Danny, you weren't doing it, right? I mean, you're on here, you're hyping everybody up like, yeah, let's go, games, come on, give me those titles, right? You're not. So, in my opinion, I feel like before we sit here and say, put him up on a mantle, let's look at the destruction that came with this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally fair because all you have to do is go back a year, and a lot of people were really irritated with John, and he goes away, and I think people are looking at it fondly, reminiscing because things were better when he was there. We got releases and now we don't. So people I think are naturally leaning towards, hey, John D was the goods and why we were getting stuff. And now that he's gone, it's just a pure mess. And I think that goes back purely to the fact that Arcade1up doesn't say anything. I think
Yeah.
you're totally right. You don't put a bunch of employees on random YouTuber channels. I think you don't see that really with many gaming companies. You have it with some small startups that have 5 or less employees because that's their only option. But a lot of the more established players will do their own show. They'll do it weekly or monthly, and they'll do it with they're either their leaders or people hired specifically to manage their community, right? So whether that, I remember when I was heavy into Destiny, right? They had a community manager. That was his whole job. They did a weekly show, they did weekly emails, but they weren't going on random people's shows. They were just doing their own thing where they could fully control the message and be completely professional. And they encouraged the community and they spotlighted people in the community in order to foster that community growth. But they didn't necessarily just do like this community does, where people just pop on from the company and go. And Arcade1up would just win themselves a lot of goodwill if they would just do something, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's just press releases that say things that, the fact that we have to rely on their distributor to find out what's going on with them is weird.
Yeah, I literally said that last week's show. I was like, 30 minutes. You hop on. Guys, we've already been on for an hour and 18 minutes. 30 minutes. It will go by like that.
Oh, yeah.
You have Michael B, me, Travis MCP, and throw Cyrus in there just because he has to represent Arcade1up kind of thing. Literally, we can answer the community's questions. Something as simple as, hey, guys, guess what? We have some cool news. These buttons that we've been using for a while, they have finally have used up all of their inventory, and we're gonna get some upgraded buttons. Look forward to that in Q2, second 6 months from now, or whatever the case may be. Easy facts. Hey guys, MK Spectate coming out. Here's some of the things. Literally, it's easy. Hey guys, let's take your community questions. And it's not like I would work for the company, but you could say, okay, hey Cyrus, can you answer this question? I got a question from Council Fanboy here, wanting to know when MK4 is coming. You could easily answer, well, I would love to do that cabinet. I think you would love to see that cabinet. So let's see if we can work on that cabinet.
They ruined it.
Yeah, well, just that's it's theoretical. So you could say said title, whatever. Yeah, you could say Hydro Thunder, Qbert. I mean, anything that is new and fresh, and that the community wants to know. I mean, there's 1,000 questions that the community wants, and literally all it takes is boom, one show, 30 minutes, over and done with. It would be well produced. I mean, you still can't do that. Like why? Michael B says something too. There was that pinball show that he always brings it up, and I'm like, yes, but I've never actually seen it. But the way he describes it, it's like professional. Yes, the Zen. You could read it off a teleprompter. You could easily do that. I mean, and P-Dub says, new buttons is not going to save the community. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, yeah, there you go, buddy. You could literally just new and fresh updates. Like, get yourself out in the community where there's not all this speculation being talked about, and then it makes your company look bad at the end of the day. Everything could be rosy glosy over there, and they could have like 7 new titles in the works, but we're sitting here like, oh my god, Arcade1up's going out of business.
But Danny, if we speculate, if they give you the information, how long are you going to talk about it?
Right.
1 week.
For me,
you're back to rumor town.
If you go back to rumor town, like he's saying, you're going to talk about it for weeks and weeks. So guess what? Now you're free marketing for Arcade1up.
You're not necessarily wrong. I know this channel, I'll talk about right when the new cabinet comes out. I'll literally be talking about it. Yeah, and I'm a niche kind of thing. So
this is your passion. And I wouldn't take that away. But here's the thing that drives me nuts. You either have pro home arcade or anti-home arcade. And this is the problem. And this is why I stepped away for a while, because I thoroughly enjoy these machines. I really do. I got to the point where I bought Class of 81 because it was so cheap over Christmas. I still haven't done a video on it, and I don't intend to, because I don't want to be the focal point. I got to the point where I wanted to sell all this stuff because of all the crap that goes on in the community with it. It wasn't fun for me anymore. And I think that's where I'm at right with all this. And that's why I'm trying to speak truth bombs to people and put it out there so that we can come to the understanding and see where the whole grand scheme of things and why people are moving away from it. And I bet you Michael B, P-Dubs, all these other guys have a similar story to tell why they're not interested in it anymore. I can't speak for them, and I'm not going to speak for them. But I'm saying for you, this is what you're going to talk about. It don't matter if Arcade1up goes out of business. If you're enjoying it, you're going to talk about it. That's great. That's cool. But at the end of the day, I think they're not going to come out and give you the information because they want you to talk about it.
Yeah,
They
that's the
Maybe,
whole.
maybe. I don't know. I
No
mean,
such thing as bad publicity,
No,
right?
absolutely
yeah,
not.
right. Exactly. Speaking of talking about it, I mean, we got KFB here with a $4.99 super chat, guys. There's 110 people in the chat, dude. That's breaking Cornercade records tonight. That is amazing. We broke triple digits. That is amazing. A tribute to you guys and the home arcade community for tuning in, watching us when you could be anywhere else. I mean, there's a million things you could be doing, but it says, Danny, you make a John D emoji and I'll get 50 memberships. No joke. Council Fanboy, do it. Hashtag let's go. I can't do it now. I'm hosting a show, kiddo. But I'll tell you what I can do. I can make that a bet. Because all you got to do is super chat, and then if it doesn't go through, you can refund it. You know how that works. Come on now. I could definitely make a John D emoji. I just got to find a John D picture. I got to find one that's like, nice and handsome of him.
I'm sure Console Fanboy has a bunch of them.
Let's go, dude. Thank you for supporting the channel, man.
When his shorts pop up here and there, so he's got some.
Oh yeah. Speaking of shorts, I dabbled in the AI world, which is crazy, by the way, guys. Somebody came out with a video. You guys might know it because I can't think of it right now. But they came out with the video. They had 5 YouTubers that they used like the AI voice chat, and it literally sounded like them.
Oh yeah.
They did mine. Didn't even sound like me. So thank God. Thank God my voice is like encoded.
Too, I saw where he was singing some kind of song where it was like F everybody, but it was all AI based.
Man, it is literally creepy. You could literally have a phone conversation and like fake the whole thing and put it under Michael B and P-Dubs. It's literally scary, the world we live in.
So as Justin Console Kids could tell you, I could nerd out on AI all day long, right?
But well, here,
I know how to do all of those things you're talking about, and it's not hard. So if you want, I'll make a video of you saying whatever, and it'll sound.
Don't do that.
He's like, no, don't do
I'm already. I sound like a boomer now. I'm like already freaked out with this technology. They're tracking us. No, so I can put the podcast in like this generator, right? It's an AI generator, and I'll put out a lot of cool clips, right? And then it adds the words in there. I'm like, oh, this kind of looks like trendy, like something like I've seen before on YouTube, kind of thing, right? And then once I do it, literally like 10 other home arcade YouTubers have put out shorts like that. I'm like, I wonder where this came from. It's very, very flattering and very funny, to say the least. But I thought that was kind of cool. It's a real crazy world that we live in with technology now.
Yep. So that's Opus Clips for anybody.
Yeah. That's
So can we put a positive spin on some of this too? Because I think this is something I mentioned to Arcade1up 4 years ago. I said, "Why you want people to talk about your products? You want people to use your products? Put an HDMI out on the stupid thing so we can capture it for those of us that stream, and you'll get people doing competitions. You'll get people. Danny, you stream live from your arcade all the time, and you point.
How cool would it be? How cool would it be to do? Yes.
You could put you on one side, your wife on the other, the game in the middle, clean and crisp for your audience to come and watch it. Why can't we do these simple things? I understand the riser, non-riser. There's bad, there's debates with that. It doesn't matter to me at the end of the day. If they would do something like that, you'd get me buying more cabinets because it's something I think that streamers, let's just say that streamers would do. And there's a lot more of those guys today than there was 5 years ago.
Yeah, and it's funny, P-Dubs, if he's still around, he can attest to this. I was just on his show at 7 begging Buy Stuff Arcades if they're going to put HDMI out on their new 19-inch screens.
There you go.
We know, what is it? Is it Geekworm is the company that sells the 2 different boards that you can get? It costs you around $40 and you can do it. I'm planning on ordering at least a couple of them so that I can do that, because I don't want to stream a game with a camera pointed at it. It looks like crap. I mean, I know it's the best most of us can do with these Arcade1ups, but I'm going to drop the board in so that I can actually do some of that. I would love to get one for every cab I have, which is why, but $40 a pop, I ain't doing that. But yeah, I mean, it makes no sense that they don't have it. It's 50-cent part on their side if they put it on the PCB. I mean, it's already got the HDMI hookup, I think, on every PCB. They just don't code for it. And so
And Danny,
could
you
do
don't
it.
do a lot of modding. So like if you had HDMI out, you could put that on the screen and people that are more up with doing it, like James and other people like myself, we could be sitting there watching the stream being like, oh, you want to click on this, or you want to go in,
Yep.
and we'd be able to actually, and even other people in the community would be able to help with that. And that was something I think AtGames missed on the pinballs. I think that was something that their first AtGames started out right with doing that. And I was really hoping when Arcade1up announced the pro models that we're going to have HDMI out, I was like, okay, cool. This is going to be streamlined now across all the machines because they're going to see people want to do this. And then they didn't do it. And I'm like, really? I mean, how many in the chat room that like to stream gameplay or want to do tournaments would pay an extra $20 for a cabinet to get HDMI out? I would.
Yeah, who would
Maybe I'm a
forgo their
lunatic.
light up buttons for an HDMI?
There you go. I will take an HDMI out over the stupid light up buttons. No offense to the people that like the light up buttons. I mean, what do you think, Danny? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think that's a bad idea?
Yeah, of course. I mean, James, I said earlier that Wi-Fi antennas should be standard on every Arcade1up. It helps with tournament play. It can help with updates. It could give you new bonus things on cabs, app integration. Like they literally have an app. Why wouldn't you connect it with the app? Like you could do like chat while you're with somebody, whatever the case may be. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And like, as you see behind me on the Atari 50th, light up coin doors, an absolute must.
Yes.
Even you talked about, you can do like 10 calves for 20 cents. Come on now. Like it's literally like, what are we doing here? Are you saving features? Is this kind of like a car manufacturer where, well, we could put the sunroof and, walk away auto lock, but we want to save that for the EX trim. It's like, you don't have like pro models. This isn't pinball. You're coming out with one. Let's get it right. And let's move the drill. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just get it right. Like, I'm so tired of like having to like, for lack of a better word, maybe rebuy something because now it has an HDMI out or whatever. Like, you shouldn't.
Yes,
exactly. So it's the same kind of thing. 100%. Like that should be, or like integrate it somewhere through the app where you can like mirror from the cab or something. I don't know. I don't know technology that well. You could do a lot of cool AirPlay things, whatever the case may be.
Well, James, you're familiar with technology too, so why can't they put it in the firmware? Those that are Wi-Fi, as Danny said, to where you get a USB-C dongle. Most of these all have now the USB ports on it, and allow USB HDMI through it. Like, why can't you put it in your firmware?
No reason other than dropping in the drivers and whatever, knowing what code they have to support it. But certainly the ones that are running on Android, that should be super easy, right?
And it's not. It doesn't even have to be FTC licensed. That's how they can get around with it with the Ethernet that they've done.
Yep.
Because it's an add-on, but just put it so we can go buy the $5 dongle, plug it in there, and we get HDMI out. Like I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, there's a lot of easy things that they could do that they just kind of they just cheap out on. And it comes from not understanding the space, right? I think they treat it like, you mentioned earlier the Mega Man things, those set-top boxes they try to release, right? The My Arcades, these little plastic toy things, the old Coleco things, they treat them like they're just bigger. And so they think, oh, nobody's really going to want to do anything with these. They'll buy them, they'll play them a few times, and that's the extent. They don't understand or really care that there's an entire community about it. I think that's what's big with, Travis pushed for all the grief I give Travis for some of the comments he makes defending Arcade1up. That's his job, right?
It is. It's his
He
job.
actually did something that actually could be great, and he did it probably too fast, and that's the championship thing. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I'm glad he got it going. How cool would it be if instead of just being live streamed, of course they should all be live streamed, but instead the qualifier rounds were at video game conventions all across the country, just like they do with the Tetris World Championship, the Dr. Mario World Championships.
Wait, are you suggesting that they have a presence at trade shows?
Yeah, I mean, you go to these trade shows. I've done trade shows.
No, I'm in agreement.
Comic shows. It's
Danny's asked about that too. We've all said that. Yeah. Like, why aren't you guys there?
Because for them, it wouldn't even cost a tremendous amount. Yes, they need electricity. if you're going to do a stream it, that becomes more of a challenge in some of these venues with their internet, but that's been solved mostly these days with hardwired internet, depending on where you are. And so they could do it. And it brings back, like, for people my age, that's the Nintendo World Championships. They went around to every city, had all the contests, all the kids then traveled to regional qualifiers and then to nationals. And they could totally do the same thing. And think of how many people they would bring in at those retro conventions that maybe don't own one of these already. And they see a whole group of Street Fighter 2s or Mortal Kombats all lined up over there, and everybody's going head to head on one machine. And guess what? They don't have to have lobby. If they have HDMI out, they can just load it into OBS and stream the damn thing.
And here's my thing, Danny. You've been advertising this for a couple weeks now about the meetup that Travis was setting up for Midwest Gaming Classic, right? And all these content creators were planning on, or maybe they're still planning on going, whatever. But you have at least 15 or 20 content creators that are planning to be there. If I'm Arcade1up marketing, I'm booking my tickets, my hotel rooms, and I'm having machines there to have in-person live streamed competitions, like James just said, based off of who's there. Put up or shut up in person. These Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter tournaments, you guys would have a ball, those that are attending, and the people that can't be there could see it online, and they would get so much traction. I just don't understand. I'm like with you, James. I don't understand why they're not doing that. I don't understand.
And what would you bet that Danny would be willing to run the damn booth for them if they just shipped it out?
Seeing it, right?
100%, guys. Guys, it's not like, I don't know. It's hard to it's hard to put in words. Like, you can call me a shill, whatever. I don't really care. I have a passion for this, and Arcade1up is the only one that is hitting on those niche titles. Like, no other company has come out with a Mortal Kombat 2 Deluxe cabinet. Nobody. It's Arcade1up. So it's kind of like, by default, it's like, okay, well, like, think about it like this. You don't go to play, football in the XFL. You go to the NFL. You might not totally agree with the NFL and their standards and what they do and how they operate, but that's where the pros go, because that's where the pros are. And by the way, real quick, I don't want to get sidetracked, but Council Fanboy did donate 20 new members to the Corner Cake crew. So we really appreciate you, man, for supporting the channel. And you got your wish, guys. The John D emoji is lighting up the chat. I was secretly making it while listening to you guys. Let's go. Figured you guys would like that a little bit.
Read that comment real quick, not to sidetrack you, from S1 and Man1.
Yep, we'll bring that up real quick. It says the community got bigger than Arcade1up can handle. Honestly, they weren't ready for the passion. They weren't ready for some of the better things, but are stuck with the same easy things. Don't know how. And that's true. This is where, this is where we say, hey, you need there's no PR there. Zero.
Mm-mm.
It's literally just willy-nilly. And that's where we need a liaison. And then you'll have Travis there. And Travis is a great guy. Say what you want. He's one of my good friends. He might be handcuffed there, where Arcade1up says, well, you don't really have free reign. Like, we kind of just want you to say this at this time and then do that.
Oh, 100%, that's happening. And I don't dislike Travis. I think
I don't dislike him either.
Yeah, he's doing what he's being paid to do.
Yes.
And it's just corporate mumbo jumbo, right? A lot of the times he's coming in to defend them when people are really railing against them. And it's one thing for people to, just kind of ideate over stuff. It's another with the CES. That was hugely damaging, the way that was dropped. Hey, we're not coming. Sorry. Got nothing to tell you. Have a nice day. And Michael B is going to be the one who announces it to the world instead of us.
Yeah.
That was just janky and weird. And then, of course, there's the things that 19K Fox pointed out, that it was actually Travis that told Michael B, and Michael B made the announcement.
Out of all
weird.
James, 100%. Out of all the times to have a 30-minute show, that is the time. Come on, man.
And let's go on record. We're not putting Michael B down for being
100% not.
But they made him the scapegoat. That's what I don't like about that.
And this is where, and again, we don't know behind the scenes, but if I'm in that position, I'm just saying, for me, all I can speak upon is me at the end of the day. I'm saying, Cyrus, I'm not going to read a text message on a stream. Why don't you come on the stream? We'll get Travis. We'll get me. We'll protect you. Don't worry. You don't have to answer any hard questions. That's what we're here for.
That's right.
I'm your bodyguard. You know what I'm saying? Because I want the truth at the end. And then you go ahead and you have the show. It's a 30-minute show, guys. 30 minutes goes by, boom, like nothing. We're going to be here. We could be here 4 hours tonight talking arcades. Like, it's 30 minutes is nothing.
Poll in the chat room and say, ask people, would you rather a quick 20-minute, 15-minute stream from Arcade1up with the news, or would you rather hear it passed down through a third party?
Okay, I'll set the poll. You guys chat amongst yourselves, okay?
And I think Michael B handled that exactly as you would expect. He was passed the message. He told it. He didn't defend them. He gave us the message and say, well, there you have it. It was really Travis that defended the message, and then the next day when it really kind of blew up on him. And that should have been A1up. They should have been controlling the message, not YouTube.
Yeah, I can't fault people for wanting an opportunity to work with a company.
100%.
I kind of get tired of hearing the whole shilling thing, because you did, like, I got lambasted a little bit a while back because I had a TikTok that went viral. I had like 75,000 views on it, and it was an Arcade1up one that I did with my kid, right? And they reached out to me and they were like, hey, can we use that as I forget what you call it on TikTok, but it's where they can put ads to it, right? So it shows up in people's feeds.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, go ahead. And they're like, well, what do you want for it? Like they're asking, I'm like, do whatever you want, because it helps me with numbers too, right? So I'm just like, whatever. And then she goes, no. Nicole goes, no, we really want to this. Now, this was like a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. And she's like, no, we want to do something. I was like, how about you give us one of those Star Wars Arcade1up ones that you could only get at Comic-Con back when it was out in California? I said, for me and my son, since he was in the video too. And she's like, yeah, no problem. So that's what I asked for. But I think there's people that are passionate about these. I'm not that passionate at this point about this stuff, but with the arcades, but there's people that are passionate about the company. And then there's people that just want anything free from the company, whether it's information, whether it's product, that they will do anything. And I think when you hear shill, at least in my mind, that's what I think.
That would be shill. Yeah. See, like at the end of the day, guys, and just to clarify, if you guys know me from day one, I love.
But you're calling a spade right now, Danny. So that's a little bit different. I wouldn't classify you as a shill. You're just a super enthusiast.
No, yeah, like a super fan or something like that. I would love to do things like for Arcade1up in whatever capacity. Hey, let me just talk to you guys 5 minutes. Like B Kong said, hey, give him a chance to just talk 10 minutes and see what he can bring to the table. See if he makes sense. Yeah. If he's too much of an in your face and not a yes man, then you end the stream and you sign off the Skype chat, and that's the end of it. And if said like Arcade1up said like, hey Danny, we really appreciate you helping out for 6 months or whatever, here's said cabinet, because that's what they kind of do. They give you a cabinet. Great. Like then I can bring it to you guys on the channel. Like, but either way, guys, I'll open up a damn credit card to get another cabinet. I'm not scared of not getting a cabinet. Like it'll happen. If my wife wants it or I want it, it's coming to the cornercade. No doubt about it. Like, and we got a $5 super chat here from Kevin Clausen. Do you think Arcade1up is quietly building the Death Star in the background right now?
I keep seeing that. What is that? Did somebody make a comment about that?
Okay, just to clarify. So, yeah, no, I don't, unfortunately, and Papa Brad's not getting too happy with us here. But let me, Papa Brad, we love you. I'm the last one to like bully anybody or make fun of people in the home arcade. We're all nerds. We like to have fun. Everybody's cool over there. Everybody's cool over here. But he said he goes, meanwhile, AtGames is building the Death Star, like referring to like, because AtGames was so quiet. Okay. So he always repeated in the videos. And then the problem with Papa Brad is you put a sick ass beat to it. So I'm sitting there bobbing my head to the beat, like saying, yeah, AtGames is going to build the Death Star. And I was like, dude, that beat's got to get out of my head. Okay. I can't take, like, it was so funny. It was like Papa Brad, you were entertaining. That's like what YouTubers do.
Right. And so his point is that they were putting out major tech upgrades in their cabinet, as opposed to Arcade1up, who just keeps using the same PCB they've used for years and years. They're upping the quality of their tech so that they can do better games in the future.
And I can say, as somebody that was and is part of the AtGames influencer group, the early days, we all got to the point where we said, because AtGames started to do what Arcade1up is doing currently, where they would say, hey guys, put this out there. And we're all sitting there going, we know the community is going to like hang us, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not. And we're like, no, you guys need to do that. You guys need to go live or make a public post because we ain't doing it.
Yeah.
And I think with what we're all saying here, I think that's what Arcade1up really needs to do, whether it's a 5-minute YouTube short that's done very well. And I want it because all their videos right now with Cyrus and Nicole are cringe. I'm sorry, but she looks like she doesn't want to be there.
Which is insane. I don't want to cut you off, but it's insane. Can you imagine me in an Arcade1up commercial? The smile would go over my bald spots. Like it would be ridiculous, dude. How can you not want to be? It's like mind blowing. It's like, dude, you got like the coolest job on the planet. Like you get to play video games. But go ahead.
Is she not working there no more? I like Nicole.
Wait, hold on, guys. Wait, hold on. Then that's breaking news, and you know what that means.
Is that official?
This is some Cornercade breaking news, guys.
She's not
Nicole out.
Even though she's not really good in the commercials, she really is a sweetheart. I'm not gonna lie. Like, she's always been cordial to me in emails and things like that. Man, they actually.
Nobody
like
wants to
live.
Nobody wants to see anybody lose their job.
No, absolutely not.
I will be on the train. And again, I'm always going to hit you, like, not the true serum, but I'm just going to be, if I just say, yeah, everything's great, everything is awesome, and we're just dancing, we're going to go out of business. You know what I'm saying? I think Liv, bless her heart, she came up with the right attention. She didn't know a damn thing about arcades.
Yep. There you go.
She even owned one. They had to give her a Miss Pac-Man, and she was like, what is this?
Yep.
And that's the problem. We're just, this person from this person. Well, yeah, have this person come in and interview. Oh, she worked at AtGames, bro, to like do the startup. You got nothing about nothing. If you don't have the passion, you're never going to make it. Like anywhere. You can't just show up to work every day. And look what happened.
Yeah,
like, look what happened.
Believe in that company's mission. And to that point, I don't know why we're not hearing from the co-CEOs or the interim CEOs or whoever's the new CEO, if they've ever named one.
Because they're the right kind of CEO.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you won't hear from them.
But that's literally their job, right?
Yeah, James, we talked about this earlier. I threw that out there. Yeah,
on YouTube channels and go say hi. It means reading a prepared statement in front of a camera and releasing it on your YouTube channel that says, "Hey, folks, got some big announcements coming up." And so, like with CES. So we're not going to be there, but stay tuned. We got something you guys are going to love, we promise. And
am I the only one that
2 minutes? And
am I the only one that didn't bother, that they weren't going to be? I didn't think the sky was falling. Like, I already knew that they're setting themselves up to be sold.
Yeah.
But like, that didn't bother me because to me, CES is vaporware. Most of the stuff doesn't even come to fruition. So I honestly think that's not a good spot for them to be at CES. I'd rather see them at a gaming convention, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Well, when I say at CES, I'm not construe like, hey, they go do a booth. I just meant like no announcements for CES, nothing.
Right. It was
kind of.
You
look at it, you've got My Arcade announcing stuff. Stern, bigger company, they're announcing stuff. They go, that's the time of the year that tech wants to drop like look at all these cool things we're doing. And here's what's coming out just next. And so to even have, and it's been there, they've done it every year and not necessarily but they've made an announcement every single year. So when you break from that, I think it deserves more than just a leaked message to a YouTuber. And it doesn't have to be a big one. It could be a 2-minute one. It's a hype video about, look, we've got something huge coming. Don't make it about we're not going to CES. Make it about there's a big announcement coming. Just sit tight.
And as a YouTuber, I would agree with that. Like I would rather see the company make the announcement and then we as YouTubers, just like now, we're sitting around having a dialogue, giving our opinion based on the facts presented, rather than sitting around speculating, getting everything incorrect, right? Yeah. And have all these rumors floating around. I would rather them come out and say, okay, guys, we're going to drop Cubert in Q3 of this year, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to be a deluxe, and then we three get together, or whoever's on the panel that day. We sit there and we go, okay, so what did you guys think of the announcement? And we give our dialogue on it, right? That's how it should be done.
That's how I said this. And real quick, Zero Redux, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. We really do appreciate you contributing to the channel. Said blow up that Death Star. John D wants to take out the Death Star. Let's go. We'll say, coming from the Death Star talk, I will say AtGames knocked it out of the park with pinball, 100%. Like, I don't own one. I probably will never own one unless they're $200 again, which I blew on that. It was in my cart, and I said, I was hemming and hawing on it. My wife looks at me, and she's like, "You're an idiot." Because
you might still be able to get the first version.
Oh, I'm hoping. That would be super cool, because that would be a big upgrade over like the Arcade1up.
Sam's Club, and I'm being completely serious with you. I've seen some for like $293 at Sam's Club.
Okay, yeah, community, if you see it, please email me. Definitely.
Yeah, I got mine at Sam's Club last year for $192. If you remember, they were all on sale.
Wow,
like I think it was $230 something.
Yeah. I got,
and all you had to do, everybody was sharing around some pictures.
The price matching, yep.
And so you went out and you bought it, and then you said, "Hey, I want to price match this because they don't have them in stock." And the person I talked to price matched that with tax and shipping. So the retail price was down to $192, and my all-in was the $230.
And I got my Legends Ultimate 1.3 because I had the original 1.0 that they sent me for review back when they were doing that. I got it for $137 with the price matching, to James's point. How do you turn that down for $137?
Yeah, you can't. It's like, Jesus. Man, that's a deal.
Whether you hate AtGames or not, you buy that stupid machine for $137, right?
Yeah, Steven, I told you, Tony C sent me my first AtGames product, so I'm really, really excited about that, even though it's something simple, but that might be kind of cool.
We'll talk off camera, because I have the AtGames Mini under there, the joystick Mini. It's just a single player.
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to send that to you, because it's just sitting under there collecting dust. I've had it for over 2 years, but I have the Legends Ultimate. They sent it back when they were sending review products. I did my review, and then it got stuffed under there. I think I even have a coin ops already formatted, USB thumb.
Oh my God! The show's over. I gotta go, guys. Like, how cool would it be? Like, me and the wife just, because I put it in. So long story short, we sold our Switch because we want home arcade here. So we sold our Switch for like $200. Like, we put it towards a cab. This was like a year and a half ago. And ever since we did that, because me and my, sometimes we can't make it in the arcade, so we could just lay in bed. We got a 65-inch TV mounted. We're going to play the AtGames now. And I was like, man, I really miss doing that. Like, just taking a chill night.
I even have the controller. I have the AtGames controller. It's nothing to ride home about. So you'd actually have 2-player then with it. And it has the original puck. Not that it matters. So you just, like James will tell you, just plug that sucker in, and you can just sync your AtGames controllers to it, and you're off to the races. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk after.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I get excited about everything. This is super cool. but then so they came out with the pinball. They knocked that out of the park. That's gorgeous. Maybe one day, if I'll get something. We'll see. And then the AtGames Legends Ultimate came out. That thing looked like a hot pile of garbage. You can't, even if I worked for AtGames, I would have said, you take my name off this project, or we need to redo this whole thing. And if you guys seen the channel before, I mean, it's everything, guys. It literally looks like
it's a good machine.
I'm sure it's bomb diggity bomb, but the looks of it, it's like brutal. But like, even like if you get to the top of the marquee, and I don't, you guys have seen the pictures, but it doesn't like line up properly like an arcade should. Like, if you see the arcades in the back, there's like angel wings again. It's like we're getting in an Arcade1up legacy cabinet stage. It looks terrible. So I'm not going to beat that dead horse, but I do appreciate S1 and Man. I don't know if it's Sland Man or if it's S1 and Man one, but he just donated $5 for the super chat here. Appreciate the show. John D might be scared to come on now. Steven took some true serum. I don't think John D's scared of nothing at the end of the day, but I appreciate you supporting the channel, my guy.
Listen, at the end of the day, it's about being honest with your community. It's about it's about being honest to the viewers. And maybe one of my faults is I'm too transparent. Okay. Because I came on here to have a good time with people that enjoy this hobby. That's why I did the live shows. That's why I continue to do live shows. Why I come on with people that invite me on the shows. I'm not going to lie to people. That's not in me to do that. I want people to, when we did AtGames Legend Center, me and P-Dubs, we told everybody, look, this is a paid venture. They are hiring us to do this, but we're getting paid in product because we wanted to be transparent. And I have no problem. People working with companies, work with the companies, but be transparent. Tell people, hey, yeah, I'm getting a free cabinet for this, as well as you should. You're working for it, right? But tell people. I mean, you don't have to do what some of these other guys are doing every show and like disclosures and be like, so I have.
I think they do that because other people are poking at them.
I know.
But it's like, dude, just move the drill already. Like, it doesn't matter what other people think about you.
So crazy, right? That
people
technically they want you to do that, but it's like virtually impossible. And the FTC says they won't do anything to you unless you ignore a warning from them.
Just be honest with your community. That's all I'm because
don't shill something you don't actually believe. As long as you're 100%. Telling the truth, or and personally, and some people in this community will disagree with me wholeheartedly, but the people that get lambasted, I've heard them trash Arcade1up a lot. Right? Michael B trashes Arcade1up every time they release a cabinet that isn't an exact replica of the real thing, right? He's like, well, that might be fine, but I'm not buying it because it doesn't look right. And,
it's insane to me that Arcade1up isn't at my front door with like a private jet to say, we want you to like promote our product. It's literally mind blowing. But I guess I look at Steven, James, I can't be that shocked. It's Arcade1up.
No, right.
They honestly believe that they're the smartest people in the room. And it's just,
when you shared with me what you did the other day, I was flabbergasted. My jaw dropped. Like when you told me about how the relationship is right now, I was like baffled, like just completely and utterly baffled. Like,
think about this. They want to sell their infinity table so bad, right?
It's too overpriced.
Okay, look at this. Guys, I got a family of 5. We're all waiting to sit down and play it. You don't think I could put out a review video that shows my 2-year-old who just came in live on stream with no shirt on? You don't think we'd be playing it? Like, hello, out of all the families, right here at the cornercade is right in front of your face. And I'm not saying I can like shill this product, but gee, I wonder who could promote our product. But the cornercade's got a family, and he does a weekly show about us. That would make sense, right? Who knows?
Pull up Console Fanboys. Pull up his super chat here. Let's go.
All right, we got a $10 super chat. Did you want to read that?
Yeah, let's go. Steven, you spoke in depth last night on Biggie D's stream. I know, man. I am the ultimate stream shill. I am going on every stream here. He's like, you talked about how drama is pointless, yet the very next night you come on here and spit this drama. You're a hypocrite and 100% destroyed the vibe tonight. You know what, Console Fanboy? It's all in perspective. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. We love you. Keep giving us your money. We appreciate it.
So if you guys
some RESPICT.
There you go. How are you getting these sounders to play? I gotta figure this out, man. I had a stream deck, and I was gonna play all the cool sound effects, but it won't work. Only I can hear it. It's upsetting at the end of the day.
I've tried to do those on the stream deck. It can work, but you have the Elgato Wave 3, right? So you have the mixing software that they offer. I'll walk you through sometimes how to set that up.
Yes, that would be amazing.
I actually use physical mixers for that stuff, but I've used the Elgato stuff in the past, and it's great software for, a really affordable microphone. Their software is off the charts.
There's triggers in OBS for that too, because of the Restream plugin, I think.
Yeah.
That you could have.
We're gonna have to figure this out. I would have so much fun. Like, how do you get toasty? Like all that stuff, dude.
Yeah,
I would be going
that,
in.
And you could even have it where somebody, like if somebody sends a super chat, it like pops up over your
autoplays
your screen and stuff.
Yeah, so, get your overlays set up and.
Oh my goodness, this is just like a streamer's dream right here, and here I am just messing around with the small time stuff. I like the stuff. That's why I chose Restream for a little insight here. I like the simplicity of it. It's not, less thinking. I want to be able to express my opinions on the live show, keep up with the chat. I don't want to have to worry about all this other mumbo jumbo. But
you know what's funny? Just get, for some of you guys that don't know, like I come from the tech world. I did tech for many, many years, hence the name, right? But I also made my mark and was very well known in the broadcast space, still am. When you work with companies, you're not like looked upon as shills in those industries. You're looked upon as somebody that has like influence. Like they want you to do that because it makes the product better. I am still like in shock at how well, like over here, it's like, oh, if you're working with this company, you're a shill, you're this and that. And I really still stand by it. I don't think people understand what that word means. I really don't.
I embrace it. Like I would love to have the opportunity, even if I can improve one thing for Arcade1up. Imagine how many people that can affect. Like, and they could be happier. Like, I don't know. It's just
that's what Travis is trying to do. He was, at least that's what he says he's trying to do. And yeah, I mean, I think if they got more people on, but again, I'm a hypocrite. So, I mean, what do I know?
Well, and that's the thing. Like console fanboy, and everybody really, I love, if you guys have noticed, I don't care. I love bringing everybody on. What I want you guys to know, what show brings, home arcade show brings new faces and new places every single time. Like I love to embrace everybody's opinions. I mean, console fanboys called into the show before. I've literally had everybody. I have unqualified critics on deck to want to come on. I have Evil Genius Entertainment, if he could ever figure out his camera situation, to come on. Like there are a lot of people that say, hey, I want to be a part of this discussion. I want to talk about it. And I think that's good at the end of the day. You don't want a show with just a bunch of people that are just going to agree on the same thing. We're surrounding ourselves with yes men like Arcade1up. Like you want the different opinions and the different feedback, and that's a good thing. You need to have that.
There's people that just want to hear themselves talk, and they have a deep pocket, so they got to make obscene remarks and comments. Listen, if we had thin skin on YouTube, we wouldn't be doing this. So people, they can say what they want. Let them say what they want. Please everybody, but not Rexer. Listen, Rexer has his place too. You like him, love him, or hate him. I mean, there's been streams that he's done, and I'm like, he is 1,000% right on certain things. So everybody has their place, right? Everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their voice. It's you, the audience's choice, who you're going to watch.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of places you could be, but I'm very blessed to have 113 people with us here tonight, and we only got 50 votes. But I'm going to go ahead and end the poll because the overall concessions, guys, is that Arcade1up should be doing a 30-minute weekly show. Weekly. I didn't say monthly because
I thought that was the intention, right? Didn't they say that they were
and then again, it just falls off the well. Like there's no
so easy to do, right? Because they don't have to have some big announcement at every show. They can just be like, hey, here's our known bug list. Here's some community-made content that we want to spotlight this week. Go check out this creator who did this great review video or online play session.
Yeah, like we show game room tours. Like, get people hyped and inspired. Like, I want to see what everyone's game room looks like. That's why I always showcase it. Anytime there's one that's sent into the show, I'll show it and we'll talk about it. And Brooklyn Menace makes a good point here. He said, dude, I had Rexer and the Corner Kid on the same show and we gifted each other gifts for the holidays. And it was all in good fun. Like, you talk somebody that, we're on the same page here that Rexer pretty much hates Arcade1up. I love Arcade1up and we both have no problem with each other whatsoever.
Because I think Rexer respects the fact that you have true passion for it. Whereas he comes from the place where he feels like they're ripping everybody off with the quality of product for the price that they're asking. And in some cases, he's 100% right. Time Crisis is point in case, right?
Yeah, I wish they were $3.99. That's like the sweet spot. $2.99 on a sale would be phenomenal. Can you imagine like Miss Pac-Man Deluxe $2.99? Screw it, I'll add it to the arcade. I already got the Class 81, but that's a great price for a great looking machine. Like I would totally do that. But again, that's just me.
But here you have a company like I know a lot of guys were saying, well, Danny, you would do it if they said, oh, we'll give you a cabinet, you could do the weekly show. But here, under the new ownership, they could end up being like, what if he goes rogue? What if
Oh
he
yeah.
says something that's going to negatively affect the brand? And I think that's honestly why they have certain people vetted to do those things, because I know if you go to a trade show, CES, NAB, and any of the big trade shows, right? You go up to a booth and they have different people working the booth, salespeople. You can't just talk to anybody. You'll walk up to somebody, you'll say, "Hey, I want to talk to you about the hang on, let me get somebody from marketing, or let me get somebody from sales."
Yeah.
You can't just talk to, a booth babe or something that's in there, and they do have those, right? So it's because they don't want somebody going rogue, saying the wrong
Oh
thing
yeah.
on something.
The
So
organization I work in, it's tightly controlled who can
yep.
publicly speak on behalf of the organization. That is 100% normal.
Well,
And
yeah,
going
and you
on a
would be
show like
told.
this puts them at risk from commenters. I think if you can remember when Cyrus, I looked on for this on B's channel, and I think he deleted it. But if you remember, I think it
Oh
was
yeah,
after Evo one night,
I remember this. I
yeah,
remember
he
this.
had Cyrus on. They were doing a live interview from his thing, and somebody said something. I don't even remember what they said, but it set B off. Like he just went nuts. And which is fine. Everybody's got their limit, right? That's going before you're going to get irritated. I'm not criticizing B for that at all. But it's out of character for B to see him get so emotional. And Cyrus was like a deer in the headlights. Like, what is it? What is happening here? And you can't control when all these super chats come in and people read these super chats, and it puts them in a dangerous situation. If somebody were to say something, in this day and age, they risk being canceled, they risk making news, you know, all based on what some random person says in a super chat. So, if I was Arcade1up, I wouldn't be going on shows like this either. At least not without something ahead of time saying, "Hey, we don't want open dialogue. We'll do a pre-recorded session or something." Or if we're going to do it, we're going to have a highly trained spokesperson doing, on the show, not just be out there for anybody to say anything. It's super risky.
Somebody
Yeah,
said that this is an L. C North says on B stream. Someone said that this is an L stream. I remember. What did that mean?
I have no idea, but he snapped off and he said, "Well, if you could do it better,
Yeah.
then you start your own YouTube channel." It would be funny if he started his own YouTube channel and was better.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would think that would be pretty funny. But
That
yeah,
was
that was
awesome.
very uncharacteristic.
yeah. B don't
Uncharacteristic of him because he
B
doesn't.
don't
He
get like
doesn't.
that.
But
No,
B,
and that's
but
why
B,
everybody talked about it for like days, and so I think that's why he deleted it, because it wasn't
It's not
B.
characteristic. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had just had enough, and
'Cause I-
but that's why I went and looked for it, because I loved that clip. I think that
oh,
showed
loser
a
stream.
human
Okay.
side of B, right? And
Yeah.
I don't fault him for how he acted at all. He got pushed to the limit, but
no, but like
that's not
if you're gonna have like, I see where if you're like in a, if I'm collaborating with Arcade1up and I have, said person on the channel and we're doing a thing, like I would never put well, I can only speak about me. I would never put myself in that. I wouldn't get like that. And that's what maybe could
No, but
happen. And
what
it
if you
did
brought somebody
happen.
on? What if you brought somebody on
What if
like
Rex
me,
you
who's
had
gonna
Rex
just
or
go
yeah,
off?
or Glenn or
Yeah.
you to come on and you confront them, right? For
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
in the past. And that just puts them in a situation where they can't just disconnect, because then that destroys
Because
everything.
here's the thing, just like in this community, like I can honestly say, when we went to Cleveland, any personal differences anybody had, it was like, dude, it was the most awesome time. Everybody was chill with each other. Everybody was exactly the way they were on stream. Everybody got along. Everybody did their, it wasn't like any competitive nature like you see on YouTube now. And it's funny because when somebody gets banned from your channel or blocked, they instantly turn on you. But in
Yeah.
real life, they act like, yeah, it's no big deal. It's just, hey, this is just, this is just YouTube, right? And I think a lot of this, like when you get up, there's some people that take it seriously. So when you do a stream like that, Danny, you bring on somebody that has a beef with Arcade1up, they're gonna go off on you and Arcade1up, and now you're left holding the microphone because you're the guy working for the company.
Yeah, I guess I don't mind. I don't know. We get to see what
Maybe
happens,
not.
you know?
I get it.
And I Council Kid said it during, and I wish I could have jumped on, guys. They were doing that New Year's Eve stream spectacular thing for like 5 hours.
That was
I was
awesome.
literally falling asleep. I had my daughter sick. She was laying with me. There was no chance I was getting kid family first. But they brought up my name and they wanted me to come on, and they had great conversation. I wish in the future we could all get together on a stream, because Council Kid said, I think Danny is the one guy that probably could handle this. And, who knows at the end of the day? You don't know. If and ands were butts and nuts kind of thing. But because I don't care what other people think. Like, like in that aspect, like if you're going to come out negative and stuff, great. Hey, I'll address it. But moving the drill, and then once the stream's done, I'm going to be playing Time Crisis. Like, I'm not losing any sleep over anything whatsoever.
Right.
I keep myself in a positive headspace. I've been through too much stuff in my life to none of this stuff matters in comparison to what I've been through. We all have our journeys through life, and we all, I'm going on 38 years old, and I'll be turning 38 in February 12th. So let's go for that. Getting older and older, creeping to 40. But as me, being a father now, it's just like, I'm with my kids. Like nothing else matters. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed to have an arcade. I'm blessed to have my kids, my lovely wife, like who's super supportive. Like you could be in a way worse situation, way worse, And so like little things like this could care less. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't let that like affect me. And I've noticed like other content creators will come on and like keep reiterating the same thing, like trying to get by and like, love me. It's like, dude, we love you enough already. Jesus Christ.
So I
but
got
you have something that a lot of people probably would love to have in this chat room. And my wife's the same way, is your wife's support. Like she supports us getting these arcades, right? She doesn't sit there and my gaming collection and, all that stuff. She doesn't sit there and go, no, you can't buy it, or no, you can't do that. And I think a lot of the guys in here would kill to have their wife playing arcades with them on a Saturday night, or, whatever. And so, like you said, we're blessed in that fashion. And, you just got to get to the point where YouTube is just like, it's just a place where you can get with like-minded people to express your opinion. And that's what it is. It's an opinion. That's all it is. Doesn't mean you're right or wrong, or it's your opinion and you're entitled to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think the Cornercade would exist without my wife. Like, I wouldn't be doing this stuff alone. Like, I want to spend time with her. That's why I married her. And speaking of Mrs. Cornercade, I don't know if she's still in the chat, but she wants to put a pinball. We have like this living room, like little nook corner area. And she's like, a pinball would look great there. And I'm like, God, I love you. God, I love you.
Right? Happy wife, happy life. So you're getting the pinball.
I got it, right? I got to keep her happy, guys. I can't say no to that. So I was like, what do you want? Snoopy or Attack from Mars kind of thing? And she's like, oh, that Snoopy looks kind of cool. I'm like, oh, God, don't get the Snoopy, please.
So I'm trying to get an AtGames, 4K LP. I pre-ordered day one, but they don't want my money. So they still haven't sent me a bill.
So, I was going to ask you, how's that working? Because I saw some of the influencers got their emails where they paid for it. And that's what I think. I think they're allowing the influencers that are in the group to get it first. And
what's interesting, because I would have thought some yes, but I've heard from some of them that they only got bills for their SSF kit. They didn't get the bills for the game. And then other people have flat out said, yeah, I called them and complained and got my invoice an hour later.
Dude, I'm holding out.
It's really weird.
I'm holding out for Sam's Club to hopefully get it.
Yeah. The only reason I bought it was because I got the other one so cheap.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it's like, I enjoy it, so I'll go 4K because it'll look better, hopefully. And I was like, since I paid so little for that, I don't feel like I'm paying a huge amount of money for that one.
No, I get it. I just know how buggy the first one was when it first came out, and that was kind of my deterrent from it.
Oh, it's already, it's a nightmare. 116 millisecond latency. You can tell some of the renderings are off. There's a whole laundry list of stuff that won't be ready, like redeeming for your pinball packs, things like none of that's going to be ready. It's going to be a mess when you actually get it. But
so there you go, Danny. Wait at least a year to get the 4K LP. Look for the first version of the LP. Look for it and get it like for $200 or $300 at a Sam's Club. Seriously, dude. Like,
Yeah, that's what you were saying on Biggie D's show last night. You were saying, hey, just
do it.
wait it out.
Yeah, by
And I
year
can
two,
wait
they'll
it.
probably have a whole new PCB and everything. They'll find things that
Yep.
were wrong and that they
Yep.
fix. And
I have the money to do it now, but I'm not going to do it. I will not, because I learned from the first iterations of the Legends Ultimate. It only took me like 5 different products. No, and the pinball, because the way I see it is, you're spending that kind of money, man. Like, I get it.
Yeah, it better be damn all right. Yeah.
If you know how to tinker, you can wait it at like James. He knows how to tinker. It's fine. But if you don't want to tinker, you just want to plug it in and play it. Wait.
Yep.
Just wait.
Yeah. So Danny, I got an idea for you. You mentioned the New Year's Eve stream, which I think was honestly one of the funnest things that this community's done in a while.
Mm.
Going across the thing. We should organize a 24-hour stream
there you
for
go.
charity. There's somebody in this community who recently lost his wife and, has his kids, or will lose his wife, I should say. And so I just think it's a great opportunity. They have a GoFundMe that
for JC.
24 different, we have 24 different streamers, and just jump from channel to channel every hour and donate super chats and encourage people to go give to the GoFundMe or whatever. And I think it would be awesome.
That would be really dope, man. I'm always about giving back to the community. Speaking of we could definitely organize that. We just need to get all hands on deck kind of thing to do that. I actually there's a company that reached out to me, Kinhank. Have you guys heard of them? I haven't heard of them. But I guess like RTG did videos on them. Michael B's done videos on them. All these big YouTubers have done videos on them. They're like an emulation company. And like, hey, we've seen your stuff. We want to send you a product for review. So spoiler alert, I'm getting some product for review, which is super cool. But I don't ever not forget about you guys, because I said, hey, I can get something, but can I give stuff away on the channel? So guys, we're going to get an extra product to give away on the channel. So I thought that was super cool of not only Kinhank to do that, but the community is going to get something. And depending on how it works and stuff, I might just give away mine too. Because like I said, I got the new ALP thingy majiggy, so I can put coin ops on that. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, James needs everything. We'll definitely come up with something that I think that we could really do. And everybody would love to watch. Can you imagine 24 hours of streaming? That'd be ridiculous. Like, that'd be super cool. We have enough content creators in the space to do that. So
I was just thinking, I think on my Legends Mini, I think it has pinball buttons. I think
it does. I think they do.
It's either that. Well,
I know
one
the
of mine
Ultimate
didn't come with it, so I don't know if it had it on the full size. I gave my full size one with the pedestal. I gave it to a buddy of mine at work for his nephews when they come over. So he paid for shipping, and I shipped it to him. But I want to. I have to look, because I store a lot of that stuff that I don't use. I store it inside my actual arcades. Like, I take the control deck off and I stick it inside, so it's not.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
So it's not in my way. Because you're not gonna display stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I have to look, because if it does, then you can play the AtGames pinball on your TV. I know it's not the same thing as playing on a pinball thing, but
how cool is that though? That's cool.
Like, I stick back for the plunger, and then you got your buttons.
That's insane. I've never. It's gonna be a treat, because I've never messed around with that stuff. Like I say, guys, the furthest I've got is look at Stupid Fat Hobbit says Danny alone could do a 6-hour stream. No piss break. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, we got close when I used to do the show with my wife. Like, we go 4 hours. We're like, God, we gotta shut this down. Like, the community just kept coming with questions and stuff. It was great. That'd be super cool though to experience just new things, because all I'm really privy to is, I have the MVSX that has the high-low hack, of course, and it's great. I love it. I can play Street Fighter 3 Alpha. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff I can do on there. And then I just had the Arcade1ups, so that's cool. But I never really have dabbled into like the V-Pen. I've never like played at it. I've never ever even seen it in person. So that would be a whole different experience. And then obviously the emulation side with Kinhank and AtGames here, that'll really open up a whole new world for me of great possibilities. I know there was like one other topic that we're going to touch on tonight, as far as like, so Michael B hinted, and we can get your thoughts, Steven, that you're here, is hey, hold off, because there's an XL Star Wars coming. to I would assume Costco now, because they only do the club stores, which I'm glad that I'm not on board with XL. I'd be furious if that was like I couldn't get it at Best Buy with my discount or anything. Are you kidding me? So I would have been really upset that they were just a one store exclusive, because you're kind of locked into whatever they want to do. And apparently Arcade1up brought something to their attention. Now I would assume it would be like a Street Fighter XL or a Mortal Kombat XL, and they're like, we're good with that. It didn't seem like it went well, which who knows? I wasn't there. I wish I could be there, but I wasn't there. So what are your guys' opinions and takes on that, as far as like, hey, Arcade1up's trying to push this XL, but Costco's looking like, hey, can we just get like a Miss Pac-Man, because we did the Pac-Man, which I don't understand why they would do, because they $2.99 them some bitches like right out of the gate. Like they were already on sale weeks after they were sold. Unless that's just a Costco thing. Is that a Costco thing? I'm not a member. Is that what they normally do?
It's definitely a Costco thing. So what they do is they get these warehouse companies, get them in they plan on having them for so many months, or really weeks. And then at the end of that period, they blow it out no matter what it is, because they want to get it off the floor and move in the new stuff for the next season. And so I'll tell you, the Costco's around me sold through them with no discount. They were all gone by the time they did the discounts. So I think it really depended on what area of the country you were in and how well they sold. But from, of course, what we hear, right, they were happy with the sell-through. They made their money.
Okay.
So even as they discounted them, they weren't. Now, as you mentioned, Michael B said they offered them something that was supposedly good and they weren't interested. So my guess is, if they're doing it again, they're playing it safe, and they're going to do the Miss Pac-Man, and maybe we'll get a Star Wars XL. I just wonder how much of that is people reading into what Michael B said, what we want him to say, rather than just a misspeak. Because I think he's saying, hey, hold off a bit, because you could get one, because we know it's on the rumor list, and they're definitely thinking about it. We've seen what is either prototype of one from their pop-up store a year or so ago, or was a real one. It was hard to tell, but I think we'll get one eventually. Is it this year? It's tough to say, like, especially if they can't move those Arcade1up Star Wars pinballs at Costco.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to go jump on a Star Wars XL and get stuck with those?
I think Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man will sell better. Honestly, I'm probably one of the anomalies. Go figure. I like my sit-down Star Wars. That's like, I'm not getting rid of that. Like, I even modded it with the Buy Stuff store mod, so I have more Star Wars games to play on it. I don't know, like even grown adults sitting on it playing it. It just gives you the feel that you're sitting there playing it. I don't know. XL, it would be really hard for me to fit an XL down here. Like, if you take a look here, like I have that HVAC drop down there at the top. And so, like, you could see some of my cabinets are almost touching that, right? So even like a person that's 6'4" would have to kind of, bend down a little bit to play. So for me to put an XL, at least on that side of the room, is kind of, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I haven't really been looking at any of the XLs. I mean, my AtGames is over here, and I don't have the HVAC drop over here, so I have the drop ceiling, so it fits fine. But I don't have any more room. My couches are also over here, so when people stand up, they don't hit their heads, right? So
yeah, I'm super happy with my Star Wars. So even though I would have loved to have an XL came out first and get one, I'd have definitely bought the XL if there was an option. But now that I already have one, don't see myself buying another one and replacing it. I like the one I got. I've owned a real one before. This is just as good, in my opinion. I mean, it's obviously not the quality of a real one, but it gives me the same kind of feels as the real one did. And I don't need a bigger one for that. Now, maybe if it's got the molded graphics and stuff around the screen, that would change it so it actually looks more authentic. But if it's just the same thing bigger, I'm not interested.
Yeah, that would be a good point, to have that like real plastic molding. Stop the presses. Should we do it? I think we should.
Jason
I know.
Gave you a nice
wow.
Should we do it? I think we should play. For Jason on Monterey, I think we should bump up the jam tonight. So let me go ahead and throw this Jason's way, and
Yeah.
we'll read a super chat after this. Jason coming in hot, man, with an $82 super chat. My guy, I think that's the biggest super chat we have ever gotten on the show. I'm gonna have to have Miss Corner K look at the chronicles here in the archives, but I think that's the biggest one we've ever got, Jason. This is my Cornercade Telethon matching contribution for every super chat that occurred to tonight's show, and now another super chat from Kevin Clausen. Thank you so much, Jason. Jason, I really appreciate you for supporting the channel, man. And not only with this super chat, but every day coming in here being our moderator. Jason actually emailed me during our 1,000 subscriber show and said, hey, look, I want to give away this New Wave Toys a Missile Command. And Emery's Arcade won it. And I'll remember this for the rest of my life. And I was like, damn, I want to have that. That looks dope. Like, I don't even have a New Wave Toys or anything. Like, I'm like, damn, he's so lucky. Like, but thank you so much, Jason. Jason, also, can I put you to work real quick? Because apparently, guys, Paul Mindeman is like somehow blocked or something. Jason, you're one of my moderators. Can you fix that or figure that out? Because we would never block Paul Mindeman here. So he can't chat. Something must have happened. And I don't know how to even figure that out. How guys, how do I even, is that in YouTube analytics or something? Like, how do I even look at that?
Goofy Foot just came in hot too.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
Whoa.
Jesus.
The scales have tipped.
Goofy Foot's hitting hard too tonight.
Where is it? I can't find it. The chat's going bananas. Hold on.
Goofy Foot added another 50 to Jason. It says either 50 memberships
it's my, oh my God. I feel like I'm like Tim the Tap Man now or Mr. Beast. Like, this is getting bananas. The chat is lighting up. My computer's gonna crash. I don't know if we're gonna still be able to do the show, guys. You guys got to see this in the YouTube chat. Don't look at the restream. It is flying with Cornercade crew members. Oh my goodness gracious. Goofy Foot is in the house, gifted 50 Cornercade crew members. Normally I would read it, but Jesus, bananas, we'd be here all night reading those. Oh my God, Goofy Foot, thank you so very much. My goodness gracious, what a show. I knew this was going to be a big show tonight. I said it to my wife before. You know what's so funny? So my wife knows we go on every Tuesday, right? It's Monday because my schedule kind of flip-flopped. So I'm like, I had to go live Monday. I got to switch up it up. And she's like, well, do you want to do like a gameplay stream tonight? I'm like, I can't. We're going to be talking Arcade1up on the Chillin' Chat. She's like, oh, that's tonight? I was like, yeah, it's going to be a big show. And little did I know. And it's, too bad. Shout out to OTG. He's sick right now. He's recovering. He felt like hell. I FaceTimed him earlier. He's like, yeah, dude, when you get the chills, but you're sweating, it's like the best of both worlds, quote unquote. He's flopping around like a fish out of water. And I'm like, dude, just get better, man. So we'll definitely have him on when he's better. But what a huge show tonight. Unbelievable.
But you know what this means, Danny? Once you find the ALP pinball, you can now buy it.
Yeah,
oh, man.
There you go.
Dude,
that is. Do we have a pinball money video that I can play? Because
that's hacking now. Come on now.
Yeah, right. No, well, maybe I'll have to take a poll here because I used to always play the super chat videos and people like, nah, don't do it. And then other people like, yeah, we want to hear the dubstep. So it's like it can't satisfy everybody. So, oh man.
Oh, now console fanboy.
Oh man. Like, hey, I promise I would deliver with that John D emoji. So okay, so Jason just found out real quick. He says Paul does not appear to be blocked on my end. So Paul Mindeman, please come back to us because we love you, my guy. I don't know what happened there or why you can't chat, but we do have a $49.99 console fanboy super chat for the John D emoji. Long live John D and anything he has planned for the future. It's crazy because there's not a lot of news in the home Arcade1up scene. But we're always having fun at the Cornercade, dude. I'm telling you, like, there's always something to talk about, I feel like. And this is true. Like, come April, guys, man, if that Smash TV's cab is coming out, are you guys, Steven, are you buying that? Like, I'm buying it day one.
Smash TV? I would buy it as long as it's not like a big 4-player controller.
No, they're not going to do. No. He can't do that.
If they just do the dual, I would do Smash TV, yeah.
Now let me throw this out to you because James. So we both are on board with it, and then obviously we'll have John D news. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be springtime. Oh, and then we got the gaming convention, the first ever Cornercade, we're gonna be rocking it out, guys. And I think I have something in the works. I think our boy Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger, is gonna make us some gear, and I already got the goosebumps through this thick hoodie. He's gonna make us some Cornercade crew gear. Oh my god, I'm about to go bananas. But James, I don't know how you are with the home arcades. Do you want to get this cabinet? Do you have other Arcade1up cabinets?
You're asking me if I have other arcade?
I'm asking you. Yeah, what's your arcade setup looking like? He's like, oh hell no, I like to read. Look at all those books in the background or what?
Yeah, no, I have one Arcade1up cabinet. No, I have, like 15 or 16 of these stupid things across 2 locations. I put them in my office and at work. So like in our break room so that my team can play them. And then I have a whole bunch here in my house, obviously.
Dude, that's dope.
Yes, I would buy a Smash TV, even though I will say I have zero nostalgia for that. For me, Smash
100%.
TV was a release on Super Nintendo. I don't ever remember seeing it in an arcade.
100%.
But I would get it because I do like Robotron. I would play Smash TV, so I would get it. I'm interested in the new titles. I'm not going to get it for $700, but when they drop it to $399 or $299, I'm in. Just like I wasn't going to buy another Street Fighter cab, but when it came out at $399, I was like, that's enough. I'll take the 20% off and bite the bullet because it looks better than the hyper fighting one I have, that Legacy. And honestly, because it looks better, I have more fun playing it. I think it feels more nostalgic like the real one I'd play at 7-Eleven.
And this is
cool.
100%. This is what I say on why I love, I'm not like a big multi-cade fan. It's the right games on the right form factor makes all the difference. And James hates everything. Taking that clear deck protector off changes the game. It's 100% better, like in my opinion. I just feel like it plays better. Your hands feel more natural. It's not like this plasticky feeling. Like it just feels great. And I wish that they would do that going forward to everything. So that's light up coin doors, Wi-Fi antenna, no clear deck protectors. Let's go.
Yeah, just don't put the joystick on the edge like the Atari 50th where you.
Oh yeah, so
cut
there was
your
some
hand playing all those games.
So do you have the 50th?
Yeah, it's the only cab I've ever bought that I wish I never bought.
Yeah, same here. And I don't want to say wish I never bought because I always love the home arcades. It looks cool. But yeah, I'm 100%. The 2600 games, there's zero value in that for me. Maybe I can dive into some more, but I played 30 of them and there's no nostalgia for me. Now, if they would have put the reimagined games on there and give you some bonus stuff, just more than the 2600, that might have had more value. I don't know. But yeah, the joystick positioning your hand is very cramped.
On the 50th, does it have that lip from where your the side panel goes to the control deck? Is it just like Mortal Kombat was with the second?
Steven, it's
right
like
up against it. It's horrible.
Oh, see, that's a mistake. They should have made
it's 2 inches high.
Yeah. The rest of the
really?
controls are great, but that is the joystick positioning is because of the sidewalls just horrendous.
I didn't know that. Yeah, like the Mortal Kombat, it's only up maybe a quarter of an inch, but it's still enough that it's uncomfortable. That's why I never upgraded.
It's at least 3/4 of an inch to an inch on this one. It's high.
Wow.
And I will. Yeah, it's not. It's bad, but
and mine works. Mine. The screen is crapped out twice. Now, it's wiring because when I replace the wiring, it comes back on. But it's done it twice already. So there's something funky with the quality on mine.
No, I'm not a fan of the Atari 50. It's probably the only cab that I'm actually kind of disappointed in. But I only bought it, guys, twofold reasons. There's nothing coming out till maybe April. We still don't even know. And I got it for a super good price. We sold a bunch of junk in our garage, and it's all cleared out now. And I got the cab for $172. At the end of the day, I got it to bring content to the channel so I can, do an unboxing live for you guys for $172. I mean, if I sell it down the road or whatever, I mean, to let you guys know my thoughts, Mrs. Cornercade thoughts, and to then do a review on it or something it's all about bringing content to the channel. I mean, you guys support the channel, so I want to give back to it as much as I possibly can in a content creator's, dream. So there wasn't anything as far as Smash TV coming out. It was kind of the same old. NBA Jam, I would love to have that. And I told Cyrus when I had him on, I said, if you guys would have released the NBA Jam Deluxe in a 2-player, it would have been a day 1 buy. Those 4 players, you got to stop. Think about it, guys. If you take 2 4 players and you put them next to each other, you could have 3 cabs there in its place of 2 player or 1 player. You are literally cannibalizing your own sales by doing this. We only have so much space. I mean, James hates everything. He's got these things in our office, for Christ's sakes. Like, there's only so much space for these things. The next cab I'm putting in the cornercade, we're taking the door off. OTG's going to roast me for that. He already said, no, don't do that. Stop it. Like, we got to make room for, I think we can fit 2 more in here, and then we have some duplicates of things. Like, we have Joust, we have Shinkua Duken, we have Centipede, so and maybe Atari 50, I don't know. But there'll be some things that'll possibly be replaced depending on new titles. But, even like getting into that deluxe new title frame, it's like I'm starting little by little to kind of believe that there are going to be titles that Arcade1up will never touch. Like, as disappointing as I want to say that to the community, you know me, I'm a big advocate of Sega Jurassic Park Shooter 1, 2, and 3 would make a beautiful cab. Sega Star Wars Trilogy would be absolutely amazing. It would sell out day one. But there are some things that it might be too expensive for them, or they just don't believe it's going to sell.
Let me put something out there to see what you guys think about this. Let's say hypothetically they're going through this transition period right now, right? New leadership, new owner, new everything, right? Let's say they are building up the monetary value of the company to be sold to a new company. Okay, let's just say that that's already in the works. It's going to take them a bit to get licenses, right? Because when Arcade1up started, they probably had a year and a half before we even knew about them, that they were working on obtaining licenses, right? So maybe this year is a rehash year and we shouldn't get disappointed. I know you're going to be disappointed, but maybe it's because Cyrus and his crew, because now he's in charge, have to go hunt these licenses down. And that's going to take time to work negotiations and relationships that maybe we're just speculating that it's doom and gloom, but they're actually working on getting licenses this year.
Yep. And that could be, I'm sorry, I giggled while you were talking.
No, you're good. But does that sound logical?
It does. Kevin Clausen's comment about what Cyrus is working on right now, a JCPenney Jurassic Park Shooter collab.
I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
But I'm again looking optimistically at it, which I'm not one to typically do, hence the name.
Do you really hate everything? Just to be honest with you, just be honest with me.
That's what's funny is, like, I was about to say, earlier that everybody gives me grief that I don't actually hate everything, and I'll tell you one thing I do hate, and I know it's not popular in this community, but I hate the AtGames Legends Ultimate, and I'll tell you why. It's not that it doesn't play games well. I think it's ugly. The form factor is terrible with the weird swooshes. But I want my 4x3 games in 4x3. I don't want a 16:9 monitor.
Wait, you don't want to stretch it?
No, and I don't want the fake bezels. If I wanted that, I'll just throw it on a computer, right?
I'm not a big fan, yeah.
So that's the only reason. I think it's a fine product, and I like that somebody's out there with a multi-cade that, you can go get extra games and add to it. If it looked like a real cab and I could get a Burger Time version or
but you know why they had to do
AVP,
that, right?
Yeah,
because they do have some games that are 16:9 or wide. I usually put the bezels on it.
Yeah, if I were them, I'd say I could sell twice as many cabs if I put 16:9 on one and 4x3 on the other.
Or rotate the screen like they did on the Mini.
Like they did on the, as long as you don't have to take it apart like that little one. But the mechanism to do that is probably super expensive.
Needs to be magnets. I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know. But I just, that's to me the only reason the Unico is interesting to me is because it's actually 4x3. Now it doesn't come with anything and you have to put something in it, but at least it's 4x3. But
yeah, not a fan of the bezels. Like,
people love it. So
why would you need to have that size of a monitor? Like, even 19 inches is huge right in your face. Like, when I was playing, we had the XL Golden Tee. I was like, man, this thing is ginormous. Like, screen wise, you're right up front looking at it.
But you know what, Danny? Arcade1up did the same thing. They put Karate Champ on with Burger Time.
Yeah.
A vertical game with a
Or they
horizontal
ruin
game.
they put the vertical games with all the horizontal games.
Why?
And then they lose all the screen real estate.
All
Just
these
lazy.
companies do it because of the company that makes the games, and they have to throw some game on with it, you know.
Yeah,
So
they're trying to add
they all
that
do it.
value that nostalgia likes, right? Come with all the extra games, whether it makes sense or not.
Yeah,
Now
that
bring
was
the
the
heat.
reason I didn't buy the Burger Time, was because of the Karate Champ.
Yeah.
I wanted the
And
Burger Time cabinet.
if they and guys, real quick, so I updated the John D emoji. Apparently, when I did it first, I cut some of his hair off, so it's all straight now. You'll just have to refresh your browser to use it, because I tried to use it again and it's not
Oh,
working.
Sure,
So
boy.
maybe some
just
of his hair
refresh your
fell out
browser.
after he left Arcade1up.
No, I noticed. I was like, oh, there you go. But yeah, can you imagine like them coming out with a like Burger Time Deluxe, like
I'd buy it.
like think about it. Anything that was like we talked about, before you came on, I said Golden Tea Deluxe would be amazing. Think about any cabinet that they kind of like messed up on with that light box marquee. You get a nice reverse printed acrylic marquee in there. You get the box enclosure, with the wood on top. Like they got that right. Like let's give kudos to Arcade1up where we can. That looks phenomenal. As you can see behind me, these marquees look great. Besides Star Wars, it's a little faded, but that Atari 50th deep blacks. But
you can't make Galaga, Pac-Man, Class of 81 and have the same games list and expect me to go out and drop 300 or even $400 on it.
If by
Because
3
you're on
versions
crack.
or 4
No,
versions
the
of the
only-
same game
the-
just because you change the art.
That's
yeah,
right.
the only way you would be doing that is if you were building like a massive home arcade. So let me
But
give you
even
guys an example.
still, it's the same game.
100%. But what you'd be doing is you would be, so like Steven, you have a basement, which is dope.
Right.
Like I only have a 14 by 14 room. I would love to actually own that black and pink Miss Pac-Man. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm actually a fan of the light up buttons. I think they're a little bit better quality than the cheap buttons we have now. So that's a win. Would I like it on everything? Probably not, but I do like the option to shut it off. But when you're building out your real home arcade, you can see like boom, 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 boom. And then you could have the attract mode playing just for that game. Now, I'm a super fan, so I would have like 70 of these things if I wanted to. I mean, I have my wife on board. Like, think about it. You got your wife on board. When she starts working again, oh God, we're going to be we're going to have like 8 Fast and Furiouses lined up. It's going to be ridiculous.
You're going to have to start a second channel called the Storage Cane where you have
He'll have the garage. That's why he got the garage cleared out. You heard him earlier, right? That's why
I'm gonna, right. I'm gonna no. When we get a basement, because guys, listen, she wants to do arcade carpet. Oh my God!
I actually have arcade carpet coming.
She's gun ho on it, and when my wife's gun ho on something, it's getting done. So that's gonna be dope. It's gonna be like 19K Fox, and that's gonna be dope. So, but yeah, it might be the KitchenCade too, because I got a Atari 50th pub table, or not Atari 50th, but Atari pub table in there. So that would be pretty cool. But yeah, so like right now we're limited on the space. So I just had the Class of 81. It's got Miss Pac-Man on it. We're done with like Miss Pac-Man. But to your point, like, yeah, you're 100% right. Like it's the same game, and we've seen that so many times. But it's very interesting because like I have the Dig Dug cabinet, and Steven, don't you have this one as well?
I do, but some of the games are different on that than that are on the Deluxe. That's the only reason I kept it.
So I play, we replaced it with the Joe Sables marquee, absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
I play Dig Dug on the Dig Dug cab. When I go over to Galaga, I play Galaga and Galaga 88. I don't even touch those games. Literally, when I go to the Class of 81, I will like literally only play Miss Pac-Man.
Okay.
Very weird that like I don't play like Rolling Thunder or Rally X. Rally X is a fun game, but it's weird because like my brain triggers, this is the marquee title, this is what we're playing.
Yeah.
Like I go over to Time Crisis, I barely play Point Blank. I barely even touched Steel Gunner 1 and 2. I just play Time Crisis.
Oh no! Like, everybody that comes in here, they play every game that's on the machine. They'll stand there until they try it, especially if it's a new machine. They got to play every game.
That's awesome. Like, but it's just weird.
But
I'm
with you. I kind of do the same thing, except for Simpsons. I rarely play the Simpsons game. I play the bowling. We have tournaments in here on bowling, like hardcore. Like how many perfect games in a row we can get.
You got to get that. So if you have fun playing the Simpsons bowling, you got to get that XL Golden Tee, because that bowling is much better.
I have the regular.
Does it actually have Super Strike on it?
No, I wish they had Super Strike. Are you kidding me? I would be going bananas.
I have Super Strike on the AtGames. That's what I play. Where I play.
Okay, yeah. So then, that would be a way. Yeah, but yeah.
Danny, you were talking about hitting the screen on Golden Tee, and I was like, man, that's all we used to do when we played Golden Tee at the bar.
So that's part of the experience.
Totally nostalgia.
Okay, then
smashing your
keep it in
hand
there.
into the
Yeah,
screen.
that's funny. No, but yeah, so we were playing that, and actually bowling got like the most play on that cabinet. Just the screen was awful, so we ended up getting rid of it. Like, it was atrocious. And but yeah, like that
Was
would
that
be
the
a
XL?
definitely go to
You
game.
said it was
Yeah, the
bad
XL
on?
one. Yeah, horrible.
'Cause I still have
Absolutely
the
horrible.
first gen Golden Tee, the one with the
Keep
riser.
keep
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm
I-
not getting rid of it. But
I made the
Deluxe
mistake
Tee.
of selling mine. Hey, look, there's shuffleboard. There's gonna be bowling and the Golden Tee games is a no brainer. They did a great job with the cabinet. They just messed up on the screen, and that's where it killed them because you're
He
staring at the
does, I
screen the
think.
whole time.
I think his died, didn't it? His something with his
Oh yeah,
XL.
it's been dead in the garage for over a couple of years.
Okay.
He said he was gonna do a big mod project on that.
Now I
Which,
do have sometimes, because we play it a lot. I have sometimes where I have to open the trackball because somehow it knocks the bearing rollers off. That I have to open it up and re-put the bearing rollers back on the plastic riser parts for it, and then get the ball rolling in. I don't know if it's just somebody pressing down on it, it pops them out.
Yeah, maybe.
It's
Oh,
a poor design.
Yeah, if people, I don't own one largely because of the bad screen on the XL and the
Oh, this is the one my first.
yeah,
gen.
the classic one doesn't hold as much nostalgia for me as the more 3D looking ones.
Sure.
Like I said, I think that's a cab that is an easy sell for normies, right? Non-arcade people. That's a game. Anybody that hung out in the bars in like 2000s and stuff played the hell out of that. And so having that in your basement is a no-brainer, like NBA Jam if you're a sports
See, I
person.
got rid of my NBA Jam. That's probably that, and when I sold the iArcade, they wanted NBA Jam. Nobody played it. It had the most dust on it.
Yeah.
Just no nostalgia for it. But I'll tell you, I'm gonna get hate for it. But I'll tell you, Fast and the Furious is still hot and heavy in here, man. I love that game. Like I could get rid of every cabinet and I'd keep that cabinet and play it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
It's definitely fun. It's just
It's
buggy.
fun.
The graphics are too buggy in some of the tracks, but it is a fun game.
It is, but it's never stopped us. Like everybody that's come in here, like you've
Even
seen some of the videos.
My 2-year-old and 4-year-old play it, and I love that they can play it because unlike Ridge Racer, where they just smash into the wall.
Ridge Racer's tough, dude.
It'll push the gas pedal for them. It'll let them keep playing so they can have fun doing it. And heck, they've found me a lot of secret places to go into that I didn't know existed.
I just need to wait until we get because during the holidays when Fast and Furious went on sale, they were sold out in my area, and I should have just bought it anyways, but it was like we don't know when it's gonna. You can buy it, but we don't know. Best Buy said we don't know when it's gonna be back to ship it. So I'm like, do I really want to tie up that kind of money and just have them to return it to me anyway? So, but yeah, it never came back. So I never bought a second one, which I need to get a second one because I want to do the link up. Danny's got 2, and maybe I could find a secondhand one or something.
Yeah, the linking it up really changes the game. Like me and my wife have so much fun playing that.
I do it with the Ridge Racer and the Star Wars with the buy stuff mod. We can play the other game. It's a lot of fun.
That's really cool that you can do that.
Yeah.
That I didn't know. But yeah, like, can you imagine Arcade1up coming out with like a Hydro Thunder, for example? Like, how much fun you'd have, like,
I would
putting 4 of those together. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, there are so many cool titles that could be like released, and it's like, damn, we keep
even
getting
Crazy Taxi. I mean, how many of us would buy Crazy Taxi?
Yeah, but like the old
music, you'll never get the license.
The only thing is, what you could do is you could put generic music instead of having, an Offspring or something in there. You could
complain about it, but I'd be okay with it. To get the game.
I would be too, because you could easily get a bunch of indie people that would let you license their music and have good, more modern music. But it'd be like the late hits and blitz. People
what if they
would lose
remade
their
it
mind over it?
What if they remade all the songs using not the original artist, but they remade like they did with the Turtle theme song?
Could be a possibility. I have no idea.
I think you still have to license that whoever remakes them, I think technically has to license the song.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
they could potentially do it. It's a lot cheaper to license the song than it is to license the recording.
Crazy Taxi rocks. Cornercade said he hates it. You hate it?
I never said I hated it. Unless I did, I don't know. But it's not like it's not my go-to. It wouldn't be like would it make top 5? Let's see, top 5 racing cabs. that
Oh no,
could come out.
that was a race. You can't. I don't think you can classify that as a racing.
Oh, a driving one, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
you're just picking people up and dropping them off at their
you're just picking
destination,
people
right?
up and drop it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those mind-numbing, mindless road rage.
You
blow
guys,
some steam off game.
you guys did prove a point that I made a long time ago. I don't know if it was 19K Fox, but somebody said something like, "Oh, the concessions." Like, I'd rather have a company like Arcade1up, home arcade company, make the concessions like they did with Blitz. Just take out the late hits. NFL said no, so let's just take out the late hits and let's get it out there. Because I have a blast playing Blitz, and at least I can enjoy something. Yes, did they have to for the Fast and Furious take the graphics down a little bit? Because I'm sure the arcade version looks way more smooth, way more polished, running 60 frames per second. But I'd rather have this, what I have now, than not have anything at all. If you're gonna tell me, oh, it's only this or nothing, it's like
I didn't buy Blitz because of the 4-player control panel. I don't want any more 4-player control panels in my arcade.
Yeah, to me, I personally don't mind them, but I'm a huge football fan, and I loved Blitz in the arcade and played the hell out of it. So I had to have it. And I love it. I think it's great. I don't miss the late hits. And if you know the history of that game, the NFL none of us have played the real Blitz. When they went into the NFL originally, Midway did to get the license, the NFL freaked. And they they ended the meeting immediately. They walked out. They made them take out so many of the hits. It was more like a wrestling game back then.
Wasn't the Dreamcast version the most arcade accurate version that ever hit?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the arcade never even had the real game because the NFL
original
freaked
development
out even back then about the violence in the game.
Yeah.
They wanted no part of it. And so they cut that game way down for the arcade before it even got there.
Because didn't it have blood in the original concept?
It was messed up. It was
broken bones.
Like I said, it was a lot of wrestling moves. It was super violent. I think I remember you could pop people's heads off and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I remember seeing an article about that.
That
doesn't bother me. Like the whole late hit thing.
It's just the NFL being super sensitive to the pressure they get, right?
But I mean, with them removing it, I'd rather have the roster. Like I was disappointed with NBA Jam. Like some of my heroes from that time were not on there. Like, how do you not put Reggie Miller on NBA Jam?
That's why I don't play NBA Jam. I'll play NBA Jam Tournament Edition because then you could substitute. Like I could have Dennis Rodman and Steve Kerr because there's no MJ. I only play as the Bulls. Sorry guys, but yeah, you get Pippen in there. It's like, okay, now you can have a rotation. You can substitute at halftime.
And the Broncos and Blitz, they're missing Shannon Sharp, which is like super frustrating. It's like you got all these players, but the all-star tight end is missing.
Well, but some of that could be the player's discretion. Like they don't want to be in the game. So
NFLPA and the NBA works.
There's a lot. See, like those are the real complicated things when you start dabbling in all these different hands. Like, if we can release that game at 30 frames per second, that's a little bit easier. I'm super bummed that somehow Paul Mindeman got blocked from this. I don't even know what the hell happened, but Paul Mindeman, we love you. You're always a support of the channel.
Wait, he's blocked. He can't chat.
I don't know. He can't chat. Something happened to Paul. We need to put a hashtag save Paul. Hashtag save Paul because he can't chat. And my wife's emailing him back and forth. She's trying to troubleshoot, but we only know so much. We're gonna have to figure this out because I can't lose my boy Paul. He's not here, so he's watching us. I thank you, Paul, for watching us. I mean, this show has gone. It's one of the best shows I've ever had. I really do appreciate you guys hopping on tonight, and we've consistently had 100 people watching tonight. So this has been super fun, guys. We've almost gone 3 hours. See, I told you, Arcade1up, you can do this. 30 minutes.
So
we've been on here for 3 hours.
So Danny, when I look at, I'm on your channel right now on YouTube, and I'm seeing under participants, I'm seeing Dark Realm Gaming, Jason Little Alien, Julio Hernandez, Ralphie Duran, and the Cornercade. I'm not seeing myself. I'm not seeing any. I see those 5 people in the chat. That's it on the participant side. It should have 100 and some people that are in the chat room right now.
Yeah, that is very bizarre.
So it might be a YouTube thing right now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it is very limited.
Do you see that?
Yeah.
So Paul, just so Paul knows. Okay, somebody else James Hates Everything just came into it. So it could be a YouTube thing, so don't beat your guys' heads trying to Trying to figure this out because it could be a YouTube. Try a different browser, Paul, if you can.
I think he said he deleted his browser, went to Google or something.
Okay, just try, because I'm only seeing 6 or 7 people in there right now. And I know Goofyfoot's in there. I'm seeing him chat. Long and Low is chatting. Kevin Clausen's chat, but he's Andrea. I'm not seeing any of those people in the list. I see him in the actual chat.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah,
so if you guys in the chat room can look at the participants, see if you see it the same way that we are, or we're only seeing like 6 or 7 people in there. So we can kind of figure out what's going on for him, because I don't see him.
Yeah, and Paul's been jonesing for some real Arcade1up talk. I've heard him getting feisty in the last couple.
I know that's the thing that sucks, because I like we came with all these banger topics to discuss, and like Paul was going to be a huge contributor. So we'll have to definitely figure this. It's probably just you blocking people that don't agree with you because you can't hear.
He's directing that at me. That's fine. Just ignore him.
He can't. Steven's not a moderator on my channel.
Yeah, I'm not a moderator, so try again. Try a little harder next time with a comment like that. At least make it zing. Make it hurt. Come on, give me your best shot.
I'll have to definitely figure this out at the end of the show here, because I can't have my boy. It's like my boy Blue. I can't have my boy Paul not be participating in the channel. But guys, I really do appreciate. I mean, we could literally go all night. I do appreciate James. James hates everything, stopping by and hopping on for some great discussion. We'll definitely have to have you back, Steven. I really do appreciate you coming back, and congratulations on your new show, buddy. You got the boys. The boys are back in town. Let's go, dude.
We're bringing it.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. So I'm glad you guys are on Wednesdays, because I go on Tuesdays. So I wouldn't have any. Just kidding. Wait. Paul Mindeman's back, baby. He's back. Let's go. I told you.
There he is.
He's trying on my phone. So Paul, it has something to do with your computer, my friend. Yep. You're back and ready to go.
Time to clear your cache.
The cache, is that what the cache? Mrs. Corner Kate, thank you so much for everything that you do, and hanging out and moderating and trying to fix that for us. Like, you came back at the end of the show. Paul, I'll give you this. Is there one question that you wanted to ask my two superheroes on the channel here? Because I don't know any arcade nothings. I just like to play the games. Yeah, he's in here. Yep.
He's in. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so is Paul Mindeman, is there any questions? Did you want to talk about? Yep, see, he did everything. Is there any questions you wanted to ask? XL's being not coming. John D at all? You want to talk John D? Is there anything you wanted to ask before we get out of here? I'm gonna let you. The floor is yours, my friend. What YouTuber's doing that? What YouTuber's gonna stop the show because we didn't get the one last guy on the boat? No, you're coming with us, buddy. Let's go. So that's look at Papa Brad is in the house. Let's go, dude. Okay, let's see. He said, Paul Minneman said, did the list get killed after John D left or because he left? Ooh, that's a very good question. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Both.
Okay. So let me get this straight. So did they kill the list because they're like, oh my God, they found out the licenses are gonna hate us? Or did they just like kill the list because they're like, screw John D. We're sticking it to him, and we're going to go release Pac-Man 18 more times.
No, like the way it was explained to me was they didn't really have the intellectual property for the licenses in the sense of it. Everything was done with a handshake, which was John D's handshake. So the licenses went with John.
Oh, okay.
And John was kind of part of the company. Like he owns the office that he worked at, or he rents it, however you want. The one that's in California. That's the one he works out of. That's the one he owns that building. And I don't know if he wanted that to get out, but the one time there was a fire there and he did an Instagram live showing it. And he said that he owned the building on that. And then he quickly muted the audio. Like you can actually go back and hear him say that on there. So there's something with, I don't know how his and Scott's business relationship worked. And I can't speak on that. And I'm not going to, but the licenses John brought to the table, I believe, from how it was explained to me from him, is his property.
Yeah.
So I think once he was gone, that was it.
I'll speculate not on what John D had, but what is normal in a startup situation, right? And that is when they have somebody of John's caliber come in with the knowledge he has, typically you can't really pay him what he's worth, and so you will entice them with equity, right? And so he probably has a big equity stake in Arcade1up or Tastemakers to some extent. Not enough, clearly, that he or Scott has a controlling interest, but they have some equity stake, is my guess. Just guess, because that's typically how these things work. But
Yeah, it's very interesting, all of it. Geez.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think it's really that important. But I also think that you would have to surmise. And again, I guess I'm trying to give props to Arcade1up here, but Cyrus, if he's any kind of guy that wants to do licensing, he has to have his own vision too. So maybe he doesn't want to do the titles or the licensors, right, that were presented to him. Maybe he wants the different companies, and maybe he's going after them. So we really don't know, unless they come out and say it. We're speculating. But I would think if I was in that position, I'm working under John D. and John, let's say John had Bandai and Namco and all that, and I said, you know what, I want Capcom. I want, that's my vision. If I was in charge, I'm going after Capcom, and I'm going to do that. As soon as that person that I was under left, I'm going after my vision of it and get my CEO and the company behind my vision of where I want to take it and go from there. Again, just put myself in their shoes. I don't know for a fact.
Well, Cyrus, please make it your vision to not release a claw machine and to do Sega Jurassic Park Shooter 1, 2, and 3.
So I love claw machines. So
okay, so James, you got one sale. Let's see what happens.
If they do a digital claw machine.
Can you imagine, like, Arcade1up comes out with a claw machine? You got to spend all your money to fill it. Like, here, buy some.
Way too much.
Oh, Jesus!
Even the cheap ones are like $1,500. So that I can't imagine that they would.
Would it sell though? Would the people here in the chat room, would you buy a claw machine, even if let's say it was $500? Would you buy a claw machine and stock it with stuffies and put it in your arcade? Would you do it?
So I will, and I'll tell you why.
I would, but
I have two little kids, and I want to use it as, hey, you can get tokens if you do chores and stuff, and then you can come down and put them in the token machine.
God! Hey, James,
nice.
You're not
them how to do the claw machines, because I love going to Dave and Buster's and doing redemption machines. And if you don't, I watch Arcade Mad. I don't know if you know who that is, but
that guy drives me nuts.
Yeah, he's super high energy, but I maybe it's the lights and sounds. I just like to turn that on, and my kids love watching it, so it's funny.
Okay, you're not wrong, but and this is what I always say. Do all that weird and wacky casino cade, claw machine, coin pushers, skee ball, do whatever you want, Papa Shot, do it all. But release the titles that the community wants to. So you can rehash, re-release, do all that, but give us 4 new titles. Give us Papa Shot, Arcade1up Papa Shot. Can you believe it? Or Arcade1up axe throwing like they have at Dave & Buster's. Do all that weird and wacky shit. I don't care at the end of the day. I won't buy it, but hey, James hates everything I'll buy. It looks like Steven here is going to buy one as well. But give me said title that I can have nostalgia for, that I can have fun, that I can teach. You talked about kids, that I can pass down to my kids. My kids would never know Killer Instinct or Mortal Kombat without your dad. So
the average person that Arcade1up is trying to target is not going to buy a claw machine. Us that are building an arcade, we're going to buy one, right? They want that's why that's why they keep rehashing it, because everybody knows Pac-Man, right? And they could sell it in a Walmart, in a Sam's, in a Costco. You put Terminator in there, people are going to be like, yeah, no, I'm not buying that.
Does everybody know Star Wars?
They do, but I don't know if kids are going to play that. Like,
I tell you, my 2 little ones love playing it. They're really little, so they have no idea what they're doing, right? If they were 7, 8, 9, they'd probably not care too much about that. Right. But they're so little that it's just fun. It's
fun to steer,
turn the wheel, and hit the buttons, and it's just like the driving games.
I still have the highest score. Nobody's beating it on it, like 999,000 or whatever it is on there, like the highest you can get on Return
who does need to make a claw machine? That's New Wave Toys. Should have made a claw machine instead of that pinball machine.
Dude, that would be tough to play on
There
a
you go.
1/6 scale.
Oh yeah, and they'd have to come up with really little plushies or something to put inside.
Man, that would be cool though if they just did it and they glued them in there and it was just a piece that you just set like the pinball. But yeah, I think for the guys that are building a home arcade, even you, Danny, for you to have a claw machine in yours, people come over and they see that it's that nostalgia vibe.
Oh yeah.
The hard part is selling it to the world. We're like that 0.001% of their market, right?
I hope not.
Just know if you have a claw machine and a coin pusher, you then have to put a redemption booth in your house so people can turn in the tickets and stuff.
Yeah, right. Like a Dave and Buster's.
Because we've asked, even when Arcade1up first came out, when John D and Scott used to come on the show, we asked for a 3/4 scale coin machine.
You mean like a change machine, right?
Change machine, right? So that would spit out like plastic tokens that you.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That was at the time where we were asking for like coin mechs in the coin doors to do that.
See, I don't mind any of that stuff. Like Travis a while ago floated out the idea of like, what if like, and to piggyback off of this, what if you could put coins in or like plastic tokens in, and it'll coin up the machine? I don't mind that at all. But guys, let's get the buttons and sticks right first.
Yeah,
you know, let's get better here, right here. Let's get these better instead of this little plasticky things. Let's work
bells and whistles when you're making a top tier product.
Yes, let's get our ducks in a row and our 1, 2, 3s counted before we hit. See like before we take care of any. That's cool stuff. That is not that I could be on board with that. But let's just get this right. Let's get light up buttons or not light up buttons, light up coin doors in all of the machines standard. Like if we can take care of these little things, we're right there, so close. Yeah. The Street Fighter behind me, probably one of the best arcades that they put out with. If they just would have lit up the coin doors, we could have been that much closer. But that's what I'm saying. Like, take care of that stuff first, and then let the wackiness pursue while you're taking care of like the more like I guess serious things where it's like, hey, we got a House of Dead coming. We also have a claw machine planned the same month, kind of thing. I think the whole world would be on board with that.
See, I would rather. You mentioned House of the Dead. I would rather that than Time Crisis.
Yeah, there you go. So like,
yeah,
I'm a bigger House of Dead fan, but
especially
on Dreamcast.
And as the shows continue, I love to do predictions, but it's going to be interesting to see like what could the driver and shooter be? Have they tapped all the resources? Will there not be a driver and shooter this year? Like it's a very interesting topic, and a lot of people say, "Well, it's a rehash year." Okay, and I'm still trying to get the answer. So what are they rehashing? What are they rehashing? What did he say?
Did you see Rexer's comment?
But he's right. We've been saying put better buttons and sticks in. For years.
They're never gonna do it.
They're not gonna do it because it's just
that extra $5 is just.
And Danny, seriously, let's go there. You can't put better buttons and sticks in your cabinet, even if you want to, Mr. Loctite.
Yeah, those are pretty locked up. Speaking of that, we're on that subject. So I was supposed to get a package in the mail, and Tony C sent his stuff out. Bam. 99 Lives Arcade. I ordered my stuff December 22nd, 23rd. It's now a month later, and it should be getting here. I think it's stuck at the distribution center. But guys who have wondered, because there was a couple questions in the chat, we will be transforming our NFL Blitz into the 2-player control deck. So I'm actually very excited about that because we'll be able to then flip it around. I'll show you videos. We'll be able to put another arcade in the cornercade. And that one's not going to have the plastic on there. It's going to be just like the Street Fighter, that nice acrylic. So that's going to be a project where we're taking buttons and sticks out. And because I did the Loctite, you want to talk about this community is so awesome. Game Room Guru, who is now known under the name of Addicted to Arcade1up, sent me 2 49-way joysticks, the 2 that he wasn't using because he did that as well, for free, and said, make the Blitz 2-player conversion happen, because it wouldn't have happened if I didn't have those sticks. So I can pop the buttons out. So I was like ecstatic. So he jump-started the project, and we've just been waiting forever for this piece to come. We're going to do a video on it. It won't be a live mod, guys. We're not like B-Kong here. We'll do a video of modding because we're gonna have to edit the clips, and there's gonna be a lot of swearing as we're trying to get the buttons out and stuff. And I'm like wondering like how are we gonna switch over like Like, there's so many wires. We're gonna have to take
No,
pictures.
it's
a
Danny,
project.
it's really so it'll take you 10 minutes, seriously. The hardest will be just screwing the stupid buttons into the wood. It's not
If that's the case,
it's not brain surgery, really.
if that's the case, dude, then I could possibly be interested in buying the Deluxe NBA Jam and making that a 2-player. If that's the case.
James, tell them. It's really it'll take them like
it's
10
simple.
minutes.
At most, they might have hot glued something in there that you need,
And that's easy.
just pull apart. Yeah, you just
Okay.
pull it off.
Then
Take
that's exciting because I'm not a modder and I'm really excited about this. NFL Blitz is one of our in our top 10. If you just saw the video that we play all the time,
we could get Bluetooth on that NFL Blitz, because then you could make a separate 3rd and 4th player control pad that somebody could kind of sit off to the side with a bar stool. Right.
Well,
so you have your 2-player deck, and then you'd have the additional 3 and 4 player rather than being squished up against it.
Yeah, they've I think honestly that's why I said no to the 4-player control deck. You're not fitting 4 adults or even 2 kids and 2 adults around this thing. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
So it's just stupid. Like, at the end of the day, and I get like it's authentic, but hey, just to let you know, the original Blitz was 2-player. WrestleFest was 2-player. Like, I've seen it 2-player before, and I'm not some arcade, a historian. You're not going to look in the Jedi archives, and I'm going to know everything. But I'm just saying, you can make these things 2-player. Like, they don't need to be 4-players. So
AtGames did it right with their 4-player control panel. 100%. Their control panel is sweet.
Where it's like wide.
Hang on, I'll grab it.
Well, yeah, because isn't that machine like 8 feet deep? Like,
yeah, they're already got a wide cabinet.
It's like a beast.
Rexter here nails it, right?
Let's see what he said.
Controls are $10 per cabinet. Multiply that by 10,000 units. That's you got $100,000 there. They're going to really pay 100,000 extra and get no additional money out of it. They're not going to do that out of the kindness of their heart.
Well, yeah, but if you raise the cabinet prices up, I think people would
all complain that you made it an extra $50.
Well, but see, that's where the Arcade1up show, hosted by your boy Danny Travis MCP and Michael B the Game Janie, come in, and we say, look, guys, like, do you want this to happen? Like, we can flip the switch to make it happen. Arcade1up wants to know. Put a poll in the chat or whatever. And if it does happen, you say, hey, these are Sanwa IR close, and it's not going to be the crappy Killer Instinct Pro buttons that they messed up on. Like, we're getting it right. They would get it right this time.
500 units.
There you go, Dan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that thing. That thing's a beast. Look at how big that's. It's like, yeah, it looks like a hoverboard. That thing is as tall as me.
Oh, it's almost every bit of 4 foot long.
They only did 4 buttons on the sides, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they did 4, and then
yep.
But still,
Which makes sense because there's probably not 6-button 4-player game.
Play Simpsons on this, and it's wireless too. Like, you don't even have to have it like
that's dope.
Wired in. It's got a battery. But like, play Simpsons or Turtles on this, you won't ever play it on an Arcade1up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's insane. That's pretty deep. Guys, is that a wrestling ring behind you with? Do you see that, James Hates Everything, underneath the pinball? God, I love you, buddy. That's hilarious.
If you haven't seen his game room tour, you should go watch it, Danny. He's got all kinds of stuff just everywhere.
Yeah, we'll definitely tune into that. But guys, I could go all night, but I can't. At the end of the day, I appreciate you going on. Steven, I'm sure if you can hear us, we appreciate you having on. James Hates Everything, we appreciate you having on. Guys, you were phenomenal tonight. And I'm not talking about the guests I'm having on. I'm talking about the chat. You guys were not only great conversations left and right. I mean, I couldn't even keep it up. Normally, we kind of try to read everything in the comments, but it was just flowing. There are so many Cornercade crew members. I'm gonna have to check on my YouTube analytics when we're done. There's gonna be like 150 Cornercade crew members now. It's pretty dope to see. You guys are now forcing my hand to put out some more Cornercade content now. So I really do appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm gonna bring you guys down real quick, guys. Any final thoughts as we wrap things up here?
I'll give you a final thought. I'm going to grift. So if you're not already subscribed to me, go visit my channel at James Hates Everything.
100%, James.
Don't hate the grift.
I should have said that from the beginning, guys. If you're not subbed to both of these gentlemen, please go ahead and do so. Both very entertaining, both put out content. Support the whole community, guys. Like, that's what we're all here for. One team, one dream at the end of the day. If we all row in the same boat, like Steven said, we're 1%. So if we can make our 1% count, but if we're all looking the other way and doing other stupid stuff, then that 1% is going to turn into 0.0001%. So let's hang tight. Let's hang together. Let's do this. Steven, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, let's just play some games, have some fun, and like look for new innovational ways that we could stream these things because I would like to do that. I think it'd be fun. Um, I've been doing a lot more shorts lately. I know I'm slacking. I got 2 videos that I got to get done. So TTB Gaming, youtube.com/TTB Gaming. If you guys want to, or the Tech Buzz, yep, that works too.
Yep.
He's got it
Thank
in
you,
there.
Jason, for putting those links in there so you
Jason's
guys
on it,
can.
man. I don't even
Jason,
know my own channel.
that's
That
why
guy
he's
is
one of the best moderators around. I mean, he's literally got 50 screens going, so he can be in everybody's
he
stream. But
moderates all these channels at the same time. It's insane, and he's
he's a
engaged in all the
beast.
chat.
He's a beast.
Easily
But
the nicest man in home arcade. Greets everybody like crazy.
hell of a guy. Absolutely love him. Guys, awesome show. We'll see you next week. Hopefully OTG can join us. If you haven't given this video a like, please give this video a like. Helps the channel grow, helps the algorithm, helps getting people's believe it or not, guys, there are people that love home arcade but that are not a sub to any of our channels, probably never even seen my channel. Can you believe it? Like, if I'm if I'm absorbing arcade content, right, and I've never heard of like this channel, for example, or any of our channels, man, I'm missing out. Man, I am missing out. Like, can you imagine like not being subscribed to like who's ever Michael B. the Game G, whoever stream, and like, wow, this guy's been putting out content for 2 years, never even heard of him. So guys, help the channel grow. Give this video a like, share it with your friends. If you haven't subbed already, please do so. And guys, we will see you all next week in the next one. Peace.